In the last 11 fall seasons, North Dakota State has made it to this stage all 11 times as they seek their 10th national title in the last 12 years. It was blizzard conditions in the state of North Dakota this week, but the Fargo Dome is still mostly full, and it is ear-splitting noise. Incarnate Word won the toss, elected to receive, so Will Cardinal sends it end over end into the gold end zone here in the Fargo Dome. Cole Wilson will accept the touchback, and here we go with Lindsey Scott Jr., maybe the most dangerous guy to come through Fargo since Gare Grisman of the movie Fargo. This guy's been putting defenses in the wood chipper all season.
It's been really fun to see, and was a little bit slow last week, and especially some of the deep balls and the deep ball accuracy, but got going with his legs, which helped open things up to get some one-on-one. So I really want to see what this defense does. Do they add a safety in the box, knowing that first things first with this offense, can you stop the run?
Look at the wide splits for UIW as Marcus Cooper, the running back, in motion. He gets the call on the first play from scrimmage. Cooper finds some space around the right side, moves the chains on the first play from scrimmage. Destin Talbert forced him out after a gain of 18.
Yeah, as a quarterback, you love that nice, easy throw. Essentially, all it is a sweep to the running back, but you're throwing it out there instead of pitching it to him.
And UIW will not rest their foot on the gas at all times as they go to Cooper on the ground this time for a short gain of 2 or 3.
You know, it's so hard, especially for this defense right now, is they faced all spring, all summer, and in the fall camp, they faced their offense. They faced a fullback, a 21 personnel, kind of get in the huddle, bleed the clock, and all of a sudden now you're facing an offense that wants to set the ball within 20 seconds every single time. You got to get lined up, got to get ready to go.
Scott back in the gun. Again, it's Cooper. 2 carries in a row. Again, it's a short gain for 2 yards on the turf here at the Fargo Dome. You mentioned it. The one thing NDSU does have going for it is they faced pace last week.
Yep.
Sanford came in averaging nearly 76 plays a game. Incarnate Word is also above 70. They're 6th in the country in total plays. They face their first third down, and the Fargo Dome gets loud. Scott to throw. Feels some pressure. Here comes Lindsey Scott. Throws on the run. Has a wide open receiver. Inside the 25, it's C.J. Harding.
No, and this is the problem with Lindsey Scott. If you're a defense, when he breaks contain and can buy that extra 1 to 2 seconds, it's just hard to cover a receiver for that long down the field.
Again, the pace for Incarnate Word. That one is complete. Left side to Taylor Grimes, one of the 2 first-team All-Southland receivers on this roster, along with Darian Chafin.
Oh, they feel very good with their receiver, especially if they get some one-on-one matchup. And what the Bison likes to do as we get a penalty on the field.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 in the back, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Let's go back and look at the long pass, and it starts with the quarterback. No one's open down the field. And Lindsey Scott does a great job. He wants to work to the bottom. No one's there. He breaks out. And then the respect that he gets with his legs in a 3rd and short situation allows for a receiver to come open late in the progress.
Here you see G.J. Kenny, the head coach, 34 years old of Incarnate Word, who's off to Texas State next season. First down and 15 after our first penalty. Cooper finds the edge around the left side, hits the gas, and delivers the punishment to Michael Tutsi, the safety, just shy of the sticks to set up 2nd and short.
And Drew, the one difference with this offense, when you think of up-pace offenses, you think of spread it out, vertical passing game, quick screens to the outside. They are extremely committed at all times to running the football first.
And they'll do it again here with Cooper, who plays every snap, high steps through the hole, lowers the helmet, and takes some defenders inside the 5. Marcus Cooper rolling. That one goes for 13. Destin Talbert finally made the stop.
That's a great job by this offensive line. You see the left side pulling around. Bunch of down blocks on the front side, and you said it, Marcus Cooper has played every single snap for the past 2 weeks.
He's a 6th-year senior. His quarterback is a 7th-year senior, both in-conference transfers. Scott from Nichols, after 3 other schools. Cooper from Southeastern Louisiana State. And it's back with Cooper, who spins, finds some daylight, and gets wrestled down at the 2 by Cody Heisman on this front 7 for North Dakota State. They will rotate through 8 to 10 D linemen.
And they're loving this right now. We're seeing from this offense in this first drive. They've seen what they want to do in the run game, and that's down blocks by the right guard, down blocks by the right tackle, and then pulling left guards and left tackles around on the power play. And for North Dakota State, you're giving up yards, but can you steal 4 points? Can you hold them to a field goal is going to be the key.
Cooper in motion. Scott calls his own number, and Lindsey Scott is fighting, churning toward the goal line. They will mark him short. The Bison throw back the Walter Payton favorite. Jackson Dutenheffer is in there to set up 3rd and goal.
And a great job defensively. You see a bunch of yellow jerseys recreating the line of scrimmage. And this is when a lot of fans are like, oh, just get under center and snap the football. QB sneak. They don't do that. And it's hard just to teach someone in this kind of situation to get under center. They will continue to be in the gun here.
Football's inside the 1. Again, it's number 1. Scott over the top. Where will they spot him? He is short. It's 4th down.
My man trying to go Superman on him. We'll see if he gets... Does he break the plane? No, he doesn't.
All right, here we go, Aaron. The offense is still out there.
Again. I mean, Lindsey Scott's your guy. You trust him. You got 2-3 inches to go to get in the end zone. I'm telling Superman, ball is yours. Get in the end zone.
10th play of the drive is a 4th and goal from inside the 1. Chafin in motion. Scott looks that way. Chafin has it and waltzes in. It's Darian Chafin's 18th touchdown of the season, tops in the country, and UIW is on the board first.
And a little bit scary of a catch. Ball was just a tad bit behind the receiver, and he saw him look up for a split second to find the defender that he had to beat to get in the end zone. Was able to secure it, though. Man, I tell you what, the energy in this building during that drive and that drive by the offense, heck of a start to the ball game.
Carson Moore tacks on the extra point. A 10-play drive in 4 minutes and 23 seconds for G.J. Kinney's team. Ends with a Darian Chafin touchdown, his 18th of the season.
Well, we get to see what this offense is all about. Up-tempo, speed, and Lindsey Scott doing his thing to start the game. 7-0.
And let's check in on San Antonio, where they just saw Incarnate Word score on a 4th down and goal at Smoke Barbecue and Sky Bar. And the Cardinals lead 7-0 against the reigning champ, North Dakota State Bison. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Marilyn Payne back with you. Thrilled to be here in the Fargo Dome. We just saw Darian Chafin score his 18th touchdown of the season. Tops in FCS and counting. And by the way, that was Lindsey Scott's 60th touchdown pass, behind only Bailey Zappi and Joe Burrow in Division I history. Was that about what you expected from their offense, partner?
I expect that from their offense. I was expecting a little bit more from the defense, to be honest. But, first drive, and now temper your expectations for fans who have never seen either of these teams. You're going to see a very, very different offense for North Dakota State.
Kevin Nguyen handles the kickoff for UIW. No Rajon Nelson for NDSU tonight, so Braylon Henderson comes in and calls for the fair catch. And we'll get our first look at Cam Miller and this Bison throwback offense.
Hey, oldie but goodie. This is good football right here. This is big boy. Put your big pants on for defenses and get ready for some smash mouth. And this is what this defense, you talk about Incarnate Word, on the other side defensively, they struggled tackling last week and played a lot of plays. And just the end of the season, playoffs, legs start to get a little bit heavy on you. And this is what this offense wants to do for the Bison. They want to impose their will on you and run it right down your throat.
A thundering herd of Bison starts at the 25. And Ken Miller will hand it off to Kobe Johnson. Unquestioned RB1 tonight, picks up 3 or 4 on first down. Remember, as Marilyn said, no Tamarick Williams tonight for NDSU, part of a banged-up group for North Dakota State. They have had a bunch of significant contributors miss time this season, so expect a lot of Kobe Johnson, some TK Marshall as we saw last week against Samford, maybe Jalen Bussey, maybe even Barika Penu, highly touted freshman for NDSU. Miller, the third-year starter. From the shotgun on 2nd down and 7, swings it out to the tight end, Joe Stuffle, who is brought down about 2 yards shy of the first down marker by Isaiah Paul.
Against an aggressive defense, which they're facing tonight, you're going to see a lot of man-on-man coverage. You're going to see a safety in the box. They want to be able to match the numbers for what the offense presents. But with the man-on-man, with that aggression, you can get them with plays like that. Play action, bootlegs, get the defense moving one direction. You get a tight end or receiver sneaking out the other side, and an easy throw to get a third and short situation. This is when, regardless of whoever the quarterback is, they like to run the quarterbacks here or get in the I formation, power football.
It's not a VHS tape, folks. This is 2022 I-formation offense, but Cam Miller has to just dump it as the Incarnate Word pass rush got home in a hurry to set up fourth down.
See, I don't think that was a pass. I think that was just miscommunication on the back end of what direction the running back was going and the quarterback. Just a lot of confusion early on what looked like a simple play, run play in the I-formation power football.
It was Paul and Darius Sanders in there to apply the heat on Miller. He couldn't have dialed up a better start for the Cardinals. They score a touchdown on their first drive. They force a 3-and-out on the Bison's first. And it brings out Caden Steindorf to kick it from his own 20. Cole Wilson back to receive for UIW. Calls for the fair catches. That is a booming kick that nearly scraped the roof here at the Fargo Dome. That will set up Incarnate Word at the 15. After a 52-yard punt, the high-flying Cardinals back to work. North Dakota State feels right at home here. 11th time in the last 11 fall seasons they have made the semifinal. And as the weather turns even colder than it has been here in the Red River Valley, it is 7-0 Incarnate Word in their first ever semifinal appearance. The Cardinals start at their own 15 after a 52-yard punt for North Dakota State. Jarrell Wiley is the tailback next to Lindsey Scott Jr. Haven't seen a whole lot of anyone but Marcus Cooper in the last couple games for Incarnate Word. On first down and 10, Lindsey Scott Jr. sets up the screen in a great open space tackle as Taylor Grimes had it, but only for a split second before Nick Kubitz, starting in place of Luke Wirtz, makes the stop.
That's a great job. Light box, two high safeties. I'd like to run the ball in this situation, though.
They pick up one on first down. Scott looks to throw again. Four-man rush. Wiley has the catch, and he dives forward for the first down as we go down to Maryland.
Marcus Cooper had his right ankle taped twice after the touchdown drive for the Cardinals. He told Lindsey Scott Jr., no, he's not okay, but he wants to be able to keep playing. We do not see him there now.
Still got his helmet on the sideline, but Wiley's doing a nice job filling in as that one moves the sticks again. Dawson Weber made the tackle after a gain of 16.
Well, what you're seeing right now defensively is just a five-man box. You had 5 offensive linemen for 4 D-line and 1 linebacker. I just keep running the ball every single time.
And they do, with Wiley, who picks up another big chunk and takes it into Bison territory. James Kaiser, the leading tackler for NDSU, brings him down.
Yeah, now as an offensive play caller, don't overthink it. It's literally just a numbers game. If you want to keep playing 2 high safeties, run the football.
This time Scott throws and finds some space, uses the legs, and he's still upright inside the North Dakota State 30. Into the red zone, and Scott walks out of bounds, ushered there by Destin Talbert after a gain of 33.
How good is he? It's just first time seeing him live, to get skinny through that and then to break some tackles down the field.
They hate replays. They want to go right up to the line, and they do. And it's Wiley. All kinds of space, untouched into the end zone for a 15-yard touchdown. The Word has silenced the Fargo Dome.
And it's just the same play over and over and over again. Defensively for North Dakota State, put an extra defender in the box. It's easy. It's numbers. 5-on-5. You got an extra running back in there. He's going to break loose every single time. Got to get to the sidelines and reevaluate the game plan.
Carson Moore back out for the second extra point tonight. It is 14-zip Incarnate Word against a North Dakota State team that allows an average of 3 points per game in the first quarter.
Well, you could not have asked for a better start to the game for the Cardinals. Touchdown, 3-and-out, get the ball back, drive right down the field, up 14-0.
The vibes are good at Smoke Barbecue and Sky Bar in San Antonio. Hello, everybody in San Antonio in the 210 watching Incarnate Word up 14-0 against the mighty Bison of North Dakota State, the reigning national champs. UIW just went the length of the field in under 2 minutes. They scored touchdowns on 8 of their 10 drives in the quarterfinals against Sacramento State, and they're 2 for 2 in touchdowns tonight. Wiley was the man who scored the last one, a 15-yard sprint to the end zone. Incarnate Word is running it right at the Bison, and so far the home team doesn't have an answer. Not even midway through the first quarter, the Fargo Dome has been stunned. Kevin Wynn to kick it off for UIW. And Braylon Henderson will call for another fair catch. It's a little dicey, steps out of bounds. And North Dakota State will start there at the 2-yard line. Folks, bowl season rolls on tomorrow on ABC at noon Eastern. Deion Sanders will coach undefeated Jackson State against North Carolina Central, his final game before heading to Boulder. Then Washington State squares off against Fresno State in the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, presented by Stifle. And at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, SMU takes on BYU in the New Mexico Bowl. All three also on ESPN Deportes and the ESPN app. Aaron Murray, they're starting at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, we got to wake up. I know it's a little bit chilly outside. You want to be in bed all cozy up right now, but you got a football game to play.
He didn't make the fair catch cleanly, so after he recovered the fumble, he just stepped out of bounds, and NDSU starts inside the 2, and with 5 on the play clock, Incarnate Word calls timeout.
Timeout, UIW. First timeout of the half, 30-second timeout.
Well, they only had 10 players on the field. You don't want to be going against an offense with that wants to run the ball right down your throat with just 10 players, but just going back to the start of this football game, it seems like, obviously we know North Dakota State, they've been in this situation. They are the ones that understand what it's like to play football in the playoffs, late in the playoffs, late in the season, win championships, and right now they look like the ones that aren't the veteran group, that don't know what it looks like to be in this kind of football game. And man, kudos to the Cardinals. They've come out firing on both sides of the football.
TK Marshall is the running back behind Cam Miller on 1st down and 10. Marshall in trouble. He gets stood up in the end zone. Olivier Charles Pierre, 375-pounder, was in there first. Isaiah Paul helped him out. Still waiting on the call from our Patriot League officiating crew led by Eric Lewis.
I think second, third, fourth effort. Oh, nope.
Previous play is under further review.
Watch 0. He's hard to miss on your replay, along with Isaiah Paul, 21.
I mean, I haven't seen a man that big move that fast to be able to penetrate, knock the running back. And the thing is, where was the football at? He's trying to secure it. He's trying to protect it, doing a great job with that. But I don't know if he crossed over. But just 360-something pounds.
375.
375.
Don't shortchange him.
Woo-wee.
Charles Pierre, the grad transfer from Houston out of Laval, Quebec, got in there first. And we were asking the defensive coordinator, Jonathan Patke, about Charles Pierre. They said they promised him number 0, and then they said, oh, wait, we're going to have to find a new number 0 jersey.
Yeah.
Because the one we have is not going to fit him, and they don't know who's going to wear 0 after him. But they're going to have to find a different jersey. I mean, what do you think here? Because they don't blow his forward progress dead. It's kind of tough to tell from that angle.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing any angle that if I'm making the call right now, that you can overturn what you're seeing on the football field, which was called a safety.
There is.
So I think this is one that they come out and say it stands.
Ruling on the field stands.
Yep.
Safety.
It is a safety. The Incarnate Word defense comes through, and remember, the kick return that was not fielded cleanly, stepping out of bounds at the 2-yard line. No fair catch given after the muffed kick, and Jonathan Patke's defense forces a safety.
I mean, let's not forget, like, this defense a week ago, over 100 plays, they were on the football field, gave up 760 yards. 760.
40.
I was worried about them. Yeah, I was worried about them being a little bit worn out in this ball game. But they've come out and they've been the aggressors on both sides of the football. Offensive line, defensive line, dominating. I think that's the misconception. Like, you look at this football team, you think offense, spread out, air raid-esque type offense, and they're going to be a little bit softer But right now, they are bringing it to the Bison on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Will Cardinal will kick it away to Incarnate Word, who's already up 16-zip after the safety. That's Cole Wilson returning it from inside his own 20, finding a seam, and there he goes. Twisted down near midfield to set up UIW with outstanding field position and a first down and 10, leading by 2 scores. Michael Tutsi made the potential touchdown-saving tackle.
Yeah, I want to see right now for North Dakota State on defense, do you mix it up a little bit? We talked about at the beginning of the broadcast that this is a defense that wants to play 2 high safeties, wants to play cover 2, wants to play cover 4, gives them support over the top for their corners. But right now, you got to maybe trust those guys a little bit more, a little bit man-to-man coverage, add a 6th guy, 7th guy in the box to slow down this rushing attack.
So Cooper is back out there. We heard his ankle was giving him some issues early, didn't play on the last drive. As 3 seconds are on the play clock, Lindsey Scott takes the snap, looks to throw, now tucks it. He is so dangerous with his legs. Scurries out of bounds after a solid chunk on first down. Let's go back down to Maryland.
DC David Braun told us this week the initial thought here facing this offense is commit to the box, but they're dicey on the edge, so you've got to be careful. His message to his defense right now, keep that quarterback in the pocket.
They go back to Cooper on the ground. He picks up half the yardage they need to set up 3rd down and 2. Javier Darrett, coming off his best game of the season, makes the tackle.
Yeah, easier said than done keeping Lindsey Scott in the pocket right now, just because he can wiggle out of the smallest of spaces to be creative with his legs. Looking for some sort of run-pass option here for the quarterback.
They're in 4-down territory pretty much anywhere. Scott will keep it on 3rd down, get swarmed by Bison. That's going to be close. I think they marked him short. Dylan Hendricks was in there first for NDSU, 95 in green and gold.
That's a great job defensively. Safety coming down, forcing Lindsey Scott to cut up. And the problem right now is his helmet came off on this 4th down play, so they're going to call a timeout to bring him back in the game to go for it on this 4th down.
That's a great call, partner. 2 timeouts for Incarnate Word. You see Dylan Hendricks, whose 2.5 sacks have all come in the playoffs over the last 2 games, didn't have one entering the postseason. But Lindsey Scott, after the helmet came off, will come back in for 4th down. And this is the final game at the Fargo Dome of the season. Will the season continue for the Bison in Frisco next week? We'll find out. But the folks here were pretty fired up that they got one more here at the Fargo Dome. Some people were watching it over at Buffalo Wild Wings in North Fargo. This is Lucas and Andrew Braun, the defensive coordinator, David's 2 sons, 7 and 5 years old. They went to bed at halftime last week, and they got to watch the second half on tape delay the following morning. They didn't stay up until 1:46 local time like a lot of people did. They are back at the Fargo Dome for one final game this season. It's another 4th down for Incarnate Word. 1 for 1 already tonight. Scott gives. Cooper lowers the shoulder. He's going to be short. The Bison stand tall. Dawson Weber came flying in from the safety spot to make the tackle.
Well, we talked about how many games this secondary's played. The leaders of this defense, 3 seniors and 1 junior. It's one-on-one the whole. You're in the semifinal game. You got to make that play, and he does it in a big way. And that's just maybe the momentum this crowd needed, this football team needed. Great field position for the offense. Now just got to put some points on the board.
It is hard to come in here and win. 33-1 in FCS playoff games since this building opened back in 1993. But Incarnate Word has jumped out of the blocks hot. 16-zip midway through the first quarter. Jalen Bussey is the running back next to Cam Miller. And Bussey gets the call. Shakes free of 1 defender, but he's going nowhere. A big loss on first down of 5. Chris Whitaker was in there first, and Charles Pierre joined him in the backfield.
I tell you what, Charles Pierre right now, that size moving like this, there may be some NFL scouts watching this game saying, who is this right here? 375 pounds moving like that? He looks good. He looks energized. And right now, this is a defense, I alluded to it, played a lot of football last week. They gave them a little bit of break in practice this week. Didn't ask them to do as much, more mental reps to make sure their legs were fresh.
And Jordan Davis is thriving for the Eagles. Charles Pierre look. Miller with plenty of time. Stands tall and throws. Corner route. It is bobbled and incomplete. Zach Mathis, his top wideout at 6'6", 205, was gliding down the field. Dante Thompson almost had an interception.
Just max protection, two-man route. Just scissors concept. You got two guys crossing from either side of the field. And ball maybe a hair underthrown. Still an opportunity. A little bit of hand fighting down the field. Would have loved to see the big 6'6" receiver go up there and make a play. Once again, this defense, can they get another 3 and out? 3 and out, safety. Now a 3rd and long situation.
NDSU 0-1 on 3rd down tonight. Play clock's at 5. Miller to throw on 3rd down and 15. Steps up, throws, too tall. He sailed it over the 5'9" junior Braylon Henderson to bring up 4th down and 15. And
Henderson did a great job at the top of his route. Really set up the defender, got there, gave him a little shimmy to the outside, and then broke it on the dig route. Very, very friendly route for the quarterback. You just got to step in there. Don't overstride. A little bit of an overstride there. Caused the ball to sail.
Miller's an accurate guy, completing 70% of his passes this year. Brings in Caden Steindorf to kick it. Cole Wilson back deep to receive. He's got 2 punt return touchdowns this season, but he lets this one bounce, and it takes a friendly Bison hop all the way inside the 5. So Incarnate Word will have to go 97 yards after the 59-yard kick by Steindorf.
Well, the way this offense has been moving the football, that's not too big of a deal for them. And I want to give some credit. We talk a lot about Lindsey Scott. We talk a lot about the running game and the receivers. But, you know, the one thing this staff told us this week is this is the first time they feel like this offensive line, the 5 guys up front, can handle a defense like this, can be the aggressors, can run the football, can dominate. They've been like that all season long, and we're seeing it here in the first quarter.
UIW averaging almost 9 yards per play compared to 0.1 for NDSU as Lindsey Scott throws incomplete, targeting Jalen Campbell on the outside. Courtney Eubanks was all over him. And really, Aaron, it hasn't been the passing game that's killed North Dakota State so far. It's been a lot of run game for UIW.
No, I think they just got tricked into watching the film and just saying, hey, this is a team that wants to spread it out, throw the football, use the screens to the outside. But even the 2-minute drive last week for this Cardinal team, they will stay committed to running the football in order to get those one-on-ones later in the football game.
That was Scott's first incompletion, now 5 for 6. Feels some pressure, scurries out of the pocket, directing traffic, throws up the boundary, incomplete. Just threw it away as Darian Chafin was in the vicinity. Spencer Wagey, the first-team All-American 99, applied the pressure.
That's a great job on the back end. This is more of a coverage issue. No one's open. But then everyone's staying home. This is going to be the problem on defense. You just have to understand that, hey, I may not get a sack in this game. I may not be able to bring the quarterback down, but if I stay in my rushing lanes, I'm going to force him to sit in the pocket or roll out and throw the football away like that previous play. You just got to stay disciplined.
3rd down and 10, 4 wide for Scott. Looks, throws over the middle, incomplete. It was nearly an interception for Dawson Weber, who had one last week against Samford. Taylor Grimes also almost came back to catch it.
And great pressure up front, forcing Lindsey Scott to get rid of the ball, maybe just a little bit early. Great play design. Cover 2, you got the dig route coming across if he would have had an extra second. And that's going to be an interesting matchup. Taylor Grimes, more of an outside receiver this year, but they with some injuries and guys moving around, they want to put him in the slot, see if they can get him matched up with some nickels and safeties in this shell defense.
Now Brandon Porter out for the season, usually plays in the slot. Kevin DeWin from inside his own end zone kicks it away. It's a spiraling punt down inside the 45 of Incarnate Word as Jaden Price lets it skip into the Cardinals sideline. By the way, only the 24th 3 and out of the season for Incarnate Word.
All right, now if you're the Bison in this offense, you need to get back to what you do well, and that's running the football and even incorporating the quarterback. And I know you're a little bit banged up at that position with the guy that you want to run it in Cole Payne, but you know what we've seen this year from Cam Miller, he is viewed as the quote-unquote the passer of the two, but he's got great great athleticism. I would kind of use him in this run game a little bit right now. See if you can pick up a first down.
The Bison will start at the 42 with Kobe Johnson behind Miller in the pistol. A lot of window dressing for the Bison and a jumbo set on first down. Johnson gets the call, and the speedster is taken down by his ankles by Dante Thompson after a gain of 4 or 5 on first down. You see this North Dakota State rushing attack. I mean, they're pretty much top 5 in the country in rushing every season. Tyler Roll, their offensive coordinator, used to be a running back here for NDSU, and he told us we recruit guys who crave contact and they want to have the most physical offensive line in America.
Well, offensive line, tight ends, fullbacks. I mean, this is early 2000s NFL pro-style offense. Run, and then play action pass, see if you take a shot down the field.
When you see number 78 in motion, that really exemplifies it. As Miller throws incomplete, he was trying to find Hunter Brosio, playing fullback in place of the injured Lipke, and it sets up 3rd down and 7.
Trying to sneak the fullback out on a wheel route off the play action pass. That's what I'm talking about. Run the football and then play action pass off of that. But to me, you have not run the ball well enough here in the first quarter to really kind of set up any sort of play action. That's the problem right now. Like, do what you do well, prove to the offense that you're going to stay committed to it, and then you start taking some shots. Not, hey, we got 3 yards running the football, let's now take a shot.
They have -1 rush yard tonight. 3rd down and 7. Miller with time. Throws. It's a bullet, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Joe Stuffle, normally sure-handed tight end, to bring up 4th down and 7.
And balls high once again from the quarterback. I know you say sure-handed, but when you're throwing to fullbacks, when you're throwing to tight ends, you put it on their numbers. And then that's 2 times now we've seen back-to-back possessions where a simple dig route, ball's right in front of you, to put the receiver, tight ends right in front of you. You need to put it on their chest.
Well, a funky formation on 4th down as Caden Steindorf goes back to field the punt with 5 on the timer. Cole Wilson again back deep to receive. 3 punts and a safety for the NDSU offense so far. Wilson calls for the fair catch and lets it bounce. That hit a Cardinal, and the Bison scoop it up. What is the call? NDSU ball at the 1, looks like. It's a 38-yard punt. Beautifully dropped inside the 5. It's Bison ball. Dawson Weber, Johnny on the spot.
Ruling on the field is that the ball was touched by the receiving team and recovered.
I feel like we've had an entire game of events happen here in the first quarter. It has been just a wild first quarter, from offensive explosion to safeties. And this clearly touches a Cardinal player on the outside. I think we'll see another angle from the other way, but looked pretty clear from here live that it bounced off a guy wearing a white jersey.
That's Brian Mays for Incarnate Word number 12, and Dawson Weber was waiting there. Now remember, you cannot advance a muffed punt as the punting team. Definitely hit number 12. It doesn't matter. Weber had his knee down when he recovered it at the 1-yard line. Only the 15th turnover of the season for Incarnate Word. I mean, what a swing.
Yeah, and then just much needed for this North Dakota State team that just is not finding any ways to move the football. If you can be giving the ball at the 1-yard line, a little bit lucky, but hey, whatever. Take what you can get right now. See if you get some points on the board. Now it's just going to be a discussion of where the ball is going to be spot. Look like they may back it up a yard.
After further review, this confirmed. It's down.
Eric Lewis makes the fans here at the Fargo Dome happy with under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Maybe that's what Matt Entz's team needs to get going.
Just something. You had to feel good. And then these are this team has been in this situation. They've been in this ball game. We've seen the success they've had in this stadium. A lot of seniors on both sides of the football. They just got they got to weather the storm. They need something good to happen for them. that just occurred. Now let's take advantage of it.
Here they come in the I formation. See, the red zone offense has been humming lately. TK Marshall dots the I. And Miller pitches it to him on 1st down and 10. Marshall is in. Touchdown Bison. There is a flag down, so hold off on the firepower.
Yeah, Kubas, number 63, the right guard, is going to get called for a holding here. Just silly. I think his running back would have had the edge regardless.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
I go back. I said they just need something to go right for them. They just can't get anything to fully go right for the Bison here in the first quarter. And you see the right guard, right to the right of the quarterback. He's going to pull around to take care of the edge and gets a ton of jersey.
Now, they didn't announce a number, so maybe it was against the hold on.
Watch 63. You'll see it right here. Right arm, grabs face mask, jersey, something.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
Hold and a face mask.
Easy call.
It backs the Bison up to the 12, where Miller will keep it around the edge, taken down by Isaiah Paul, who has been all over the place in the first quarter for Incarnate Word.
And they know, they've obviously done their film study. This was a week of less physical work, more mental work, more film work, understanding what this offense wants to do inside the red zone, and that's incorporate, regardless of who the quarterback is, Miller or Payne. Hey, they like to run it, add that extra offensive player inside the box, and they are ready for it there.
After the loss of 2, the Bison have run it 5 times for -3 yards. Here's 2nd down and goal. Again, it's Miller on the keeper in the spin cycle inside the 10. Remember, the drive started at the 2, sets up 3rd down and goal from the 9 as Brian Mays makes the stop. Remember, Mays was the guy who touched the punt, allowing North Dakota State to take over in the red zone.
Oh, this is going to be interesting here. You know, I know your offense isn't built to score a lot of points. I know you're facing a team that can score a lot of points and have proven it all year, 53 points per game. You know, what do the analytics tell you in this situation? Is this a 4-down, go for it every single time, knowing the offense that you're facing on the other side?
Five on the play clock. Miller looks right, throws, end zone, incomplete. Lots of contact. No laundry on the field. He was trying to get it to Zach Mathis. It was Mays in coverage. The 6'6 Mathis against the 6'1 Mays, advantage defense.
That's the matchup you want to go after. 6'6. Throw it up to him. I didn't see anything live. I think they were both getting after a little bit on the outside. They would have loved to see the ball a little bit up for the 6'6 receiver to go up there and get in. I agree with this one. If you would have gotten a little bit closer, maybe go for it, but you need some points right now.
Griffin Crosa in there for a 27-yard attempt, and that slides through to put North Dakota State on the board. But they start with a 1st and goal at the 2, end up moving backwards and settling for 3.
Hey, I guess you can look at it this way. They could have been giving the ball to the Cardinals, and they could have been driving the football. So I think right now you just needed something good to happen for you. Your defense has stepped up here after just getting demolished for the first 2 possessions. They've stepped up. They've made some plays. They get the ball back for your offense there at the 2-yard line after the muff punt. You get some points on the board. It's just, listen, there's some haymakers being thrown right now. Can they weather that? And right now I think the biggest thing is this defense has settled in a little bit for North Dakota State and see if they can continue to, slow down the run. That's what hurt them early in the beginning of the football game. Have done a better job here as of late.
Well, Matt Entz told us we won't change what we do just because we've got a dynamic offense coming in here. He said if they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us doing what we do. Then he can sleep at night. Told us about a game back in 2016 in the regular season against Eastern Washington when Cooper Kupp and company hung 44 and took them to overtime. Bison ultimately won. Entz said he messed around with some 3-down stuff. Coach Entz overthought himself that day, his words. So they weren't going to change what they do, but Incarnate Word so far has been dynamic as the kickoff rolls through the end zone to set up the Cardinals at the 25. Speaking of dynamic offense for UIW, they're really doing it on the ground so far, partner.
Yeah, and obviously great pass here on that first touchdown drive. Be able to drive down the field. But yeah, it's been this offensive line who they were excited about getting matched up against this defensive line because of their trust, because of their physicality. But then the defense, too, has been absolutely demolishing North Dakota State. It's you think North Dakota State, you think physicality, and right now it's the other way around.
The center, Reed Francis, the left guard, Caleb Johnson, both first-team all-conference this year. Again, it's Jarrell Wiley on the ground as Marcus Cooper's been banged up throughout this first quarter. Wiley's been effective, picks up 9 on first down. Dylan Hendricks makes the tackle. Second down and 1. This time Scott on the keeper, lowers the shoulder, has a first down. UIW out to the 38-yard line. And there is Marcus Cooper, the 6th-year senior, transfer from Southeastern Louisiana. Actually was all-conference back in 2017. Where were you in 2017? On first down and 10 now. Scott throws, sideline, complete. He rifled it in there to C.J. Hardy for a first down. UIW against Courtney Eubanks for 11.
That's a great job. So right now they're playing a cover 4 defense. So cover 4 essentially turns into man-to-man defense. Safety's going to take the number 2, which was the number 1. Corners one-on-one the outside. Great route. Great throw.
2 Cardinals in the vicinity of that throw from Scott. Kind of split the difference to bring up 2nd and 10. Scott now 6 of 10 tonight.
A little frustrated. He wanted his slot receiver there, C.J. Hardy, to keep running up the seam, or excuse me, up the sideline to fit the ball in there before the safety. So you're seeing a too-high shell, 5-man box defense, just asking to get run on.
Second down and 10. That's blown up in a hurry. Spencer Wagey fires through to bring down Wiley for a loss of 3.
That's a great job. What they decided to do, 2 high safeties, but they're actually going to bring a nickel pressure, which allows the defensive end to crash right away because he is no longer then responsible for if a quarterback pulls it. So he knows, hey, I got a nickel, a defensive back coming in to take care of the quarterback. I can zone in and focus solely on the running back. One-on-one, boom, great tackle for loss in the backfield.
Wagey, the leader, up front. The first-team All-American sets up 3rd down and 13. Scott to the air. Over the middle. Incomplete. It was a little behind his intended target, Cole Wilson. Dynamic with the ball in his hands. He returns the kicks and the punts. Incompletion brings up 4th down and 13.
And like what they did on defense there, showed a single high coverage, actually rolled to a cover 2. Front side corner became the new safety. And once again, good play call. Middle of the field open, and that's 2 times now that he's missed a dig route. Both quarterbacks at the moment over 4 on dig routes across the field.
Kevin Nguyen out to kick it away to Jaden Price. With under a minute to play in the first quarter of this FCS semifinal. Price calls for the fair catch and fields it just inside his own 10-yard line. It's a 42-yard punt with no return. Remember, tomorrow we'll have the 2nd FCS Division I semifinal on ESPN2. Number 1 seed South Dakota State hosting number 4 seed Montana State in Brookings at 4 p.m. Then the winner of these 2 games meets in the championship at 2 p.m. January 8th in Frisco, Texas. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. That Montana State-South Dakota State game, a rematch of last year's semifinal when Montana State won in Bozeman, this time there in Brookings. Jackrabbits the number 1 overall seed. Ken Miller and company back to work. This is Kobe Johnson testing the right side. And again, it's Isaiah Paul, who's been a man possessed in the first quarter.
Yeah, he's been all over the field. Just absolutely amazing. His ability to seek out and then take down, whether it's a quarterback we saw in the last possession inside the red zone running the football, or the running back here. Is a hungry defense right now, and I think they got a big chip on their shoulder after what went down last week.
That's 4 tackles for Paul in the first quarter, and that ends the first quarter. Ken Miller, a championship-winning quarterback, trying to keep his team in this ballgame as Incarnate Word has come into the Fargo Dome and taken a 16-3 lead to the second quarter. No first downs in the opening 15 for the Bison offense. G.J. Kinney and the Cardinals have never been to the semis before. They've got their eyes on Frisco, up 13 after 1. The semifinals here in the Red River Valley as Santa mushes a bison, trying to get everyone their presents before Christmas. It's a winter wonderland here in Fargo. It's one reason why we got to give a lot of credit to the fans who are here at the Fargo Dome. We've had some highway closures, 94 and 29 here in the state. It was tough to get here. And a shout out to everyone clearing the roads today, making it safe. Now, 2nd down and 8 to start the second quarter. North Dakota State keeps it on the ground with Kobe Johnson. And guess who? Isaiah Paul makes his 5th tackle tonight.
What they're doing right now is they're just getting to a bare front defense. So what they're doing is they're creating one-on-one matchups with the offensive line and then allowing the linebackers to run free to continue to make plays in the backfield. They are challenging this offense, saying, we're going to stop you from running it, which they have. You need to be better throwing the football.
NDSU 8 carries for 4 yards, averaging 269 yards per game on the ground, 3rd best in the country this season. Miller feels the heat, floats it sideline. Mathis, his big number 1 receiver, is there. Got taken down, no flag. Again, it's Mays in the coverage. Again, it's physical. And again, it's 4th down.
Well, they're bringing the all-out cover 0 blitz. Listen, if you're going to be a ref, at least be consistent. If you're not going to call them, don't call them. And we're going to take a look at this one again.
I mean, the question is how much was self-inflicted as he went down and kind of lunged for the ball?
It looked very similar to the play that occurred in the end zone the previous possession. I think once again, no call. I like the consistency going on from the refs.
And the boos in the dome sounded like a herd of bison. It was deafening. 0 for 5 on 3rd down now as Steindorf punts again. That's a beauty. Cole Wilson pushed back inside his 35. He's got 2 touchdowns on punt returns this year. He is into Bison territory. Stumbles down inside the 40. He got popped by Hunter Brosio after a 30-yard return and a 50-yard punt.
But it was a beautiful punt. I mean, just a gorgeous punt. But anytime you punt the ball that far, you put your coverage team at risk of returns like this. That's why there's a lot of punters that, you prefer hang time, get my guys down the field. It looks great, but a punt returner that talented, you give him 10 yards of space, he's going to make those guys look silly.
Wilson, a true freshman from Katy, Texas. He's got a bright future in this program as Clint Kilo takes over. As G.J. Kinney moves on to San Marcos and Texas State. Marcus Cooper gets the call on the swing pass on 1st down. And the new drive begins with a solid gain on 1st down as Dawson Weber makes the tackle along with James Kaiser. And this offense is just surgical. Averages 53 points a game. This is Cooper on the ground, and he will move the chains.
Well, Drew,
Cody Heisman on the tackle.
Well, Drew, what they make you do is they make you declare early, which is great for a quarterback. You really know the numbers in the box. You're going to know, do I have the ability to throw a quick screen to the outside, just with the width in which they play with.
1st down and 10. Cooper again dancing through the hole. Cooper is near 1st down yardage one more time. Dawson Weber makes the tackle. We're calling out a lot of guys in the secondary. Great blocking for a gain of 9.
Well, they actually ran a Tampa 2 coverage there. You see the middle linebacker. That's the last thing you need to do at the moment. You need more bodies in the box.
Ankle looked okay on the jump cut. They're swinging out Grimes on the screen inside the 10. I want to ask you about something you just said there, partner. Makes the defense declare. What do you mean by that?
They just think with the width, you have to declare. If a linebacker has to go out to cover the receivers, a safety has to go out, the quarterback knows, okay, I got 5-man box, let's run it or we'll go throw it.
Scott, maybe on a broken play, keeps it himself and makes the most of it. Bullying down to the 3-yard line. Again, Heisman with the tackle, but, I mean, that is this offense in a nutshell. Looked like he wanted to throw it, had to keep it, still picked up 7.
Yeah, I think the numbers should have told him to hand the football off there. I think he's kind of looking for that, possible goal for the record here. Getting closer and closer to that 62 touchdowns in a season. But you've relied on this offense line in the first quarter. They're doing a great job. You got Cooper back in the game right now.
Incarnate Word slowing it down by their standards as Cooper motions out top of your screen. Scott looked that way, lost the football. Lindsey Scott picks it up, and he was inches away from his 70th total touchdown of the season, but it brings up 3rd down and goal.
You just saying that. I know we've done our research, we've watched tape, but still the thought of getting 70 touchdowns in a season, playoff or no playoff, I don't care. I mean, it's just absolutely, just big applause to him as he gets closer to that and closer to possibly other records here tonight. But we've seen from the first drive, and then now you get in this situation, the ball's going to be in Lindsey Scott's hands, whether it's him running the football.
Scott under center, quick snap, fakes the give, throws, back of the end zone, caught. Touchdown for the Word. It's Taylor Grimes. Chafin has one, Grimes has one. Incarnate Word extends the lead.
Now you do as a receiver, just full speed back in the end zone. And look at the accuracy on the run. Has to get it before a defender. And then the backside coverage as well. And then Grimes, great hands catch there to bring it in for the touchdown. 61 now on the season for Lindsey Scott, one shy of the record.
Cardinals lined up to go for it to try to make it 24-3 early second quarter. It's touchdown 16 on the season for number 16. And they will check it out. I think this one's probably going to stand. But it is a scoring play, so they'll give it a look.
And things just seem, right now, things just seem to be happening just a little bit too fast for this defense. We'll see 1 foot, 2 foot. Ball looks secure.
Oh, that is not a catch. Did not secure the process as he went to the ground.
1, 2. Does he make a football move, though?
Looked like, I mean, he was leaning forward as he caught the ball, so you got to squeeze it as you hit the deck.
That's a great job by Talbert, though, staying alive in the play. He knows he's not going to make a play on the football, but then looks to go knock the hand of the receiver to force the ball to somewhat jar out as soon as he hits the ground.
Great play by Talbot. You're right. I mean, they quick snapped him, so Talbot was a half step behind. Took a great throw from Scott to shoot it in there. Talbot playing in his 66th career game against a guy who's pretty experienced himself in Taylor Grimes, grad student who started his career at Illinois State. He had the game-winning touchdown last week, a 21-yarder with 27 ticks left to beat Sacramento State in a 66-63 epic. We actually asked J.J. Kinney this week, were you worried you left him too much time with 27 seconds left? And he told us about a game when he was a player at Tulsa. Lincoln Riley was in his first game as the offensive coordinator at East Carolina, and they beat him on a Hail Mary. Had flashbacks to that. But they are here.
After further review, the receiver did not have possession and went out of bounds, resulting in an incomplete pass, 4th down.
Now it gets interesting because it might be 4-down territory for them.
Yeah, I'm going, especially the way, to me, the way the defense plays, this is more about, okay, I trust our defense and what I've seen so far tonight. And yes, obviously, I trust Lindsey Scott. I trust our offense. And we're going to give them an opportunity to put a touchdown on the board here. But I just think, once again, like the way your defense has played this year, even if you don't get this, you're saying, hey, we're probably going to get a 3-and-out or possibly get good field possession on our next possession on offense.
Yeah, the ball spotted back into 3. It was at the 1. Don't lose yards on an incompletion, so it's back there on 4th down and goal. Incarnate Word likes to go for it. They're lined up again, 1 for 2 tonight, 21 of 32 on the season, second most conversions in the country. Cooper in motion, Scott wasn't ready for it, ball is loose, North Dakota State can recover it, and they do. Bison football out near the 20. That's Loshaka Rokes, the pride of Wayzata High School, who gives it back to North Dakota State.
It feels like this is the second time we've seen miscommunication between center and quarterback on this drive. Was not looking at all when the ball was snapped, and great job by the Bison defense.
He was a hot potato. Fell into the midst of the 6'3", 227 sophomore from the West Metro area in Minnesota. And G.J. Kinney's team turns it over. You see Reed Francis, number 72. Snapped it maybe a split second before Scott was ready. And Cam Miller takes over and gives it to Kobe Johnson, who's got tons of speed but can't find the edge. 2 or 3 Cardinals in there. Caleb Culp in there along with Isaiah Paul, and now we get a flag after the whistle.
Play was over. Personal foul. Very roughness. Defense number 0. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's Olivier Charles Pierre, the 6'1", 375 grad student.
I mean, he's playing with energy, excitement right now. Oh, big guy.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Jumping in the ball pit. Don't do that.
At the bottom of that pile.
Oh. I've been at the bottom of that pile. It's not fun. The thought of a 375-pound man
no, thank you.
jumping on me when I'm on the ground is not... Actually, I kind of need a back popping, so maybe it would be a good thing.
We'll see if Olivier is free post-game. TK Marshall is the running back now for NDSU. That's a short gain on first down. And speaking of first down, Aaron, that was their first down tonight. Ooh. 5 minutes into the second quarter, courtesy of a penalty. Yeah,
exactly. It would have been in a second and long situation right there. But, I mean, all we're seeing right now defensively is we're seeing linebackers downhill. We're seeing safeties downhill. Because of the inaccuracy right now from Cam Miller, 1 of 7 for 5 yards. They're going to need him to be a lot more accurate here going forward to take some pressure off the running game.
2nd down and 9 now. Miller on the rollout. He will tuck it and keep it. And that's the thing about Miller is even if he's not hitting his targets through the air, he's a really effective runner. He's run for 14 touchdowns this year, which is tops in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. And he's run for a touchdown in 7 straight games.
Yeah, I mean, their offense goes through the quarterbacks in the red zone. They want to get those guys going. But right now the problem is, besides the one where they get the ball muffed, can they get into the red zone? Can they move the ball? Can they put together a drive? I think right now, too, just give their defense a break. Their defense has been running up and down the field this entire first half. Now, there's an opportunity to see if you can string together 2 first downs.
2nd in the country on 3rd down this year. Yet to convert one tonight, and they're not going to do it this time. 0 of 6 on 3rd down now as Isaiah Paul comes knifing in there to make another play.
I'll tell you what, he's a good-looking player, too. He is a good-looking player. And for the offensive line, that left tackle, left guard, and left tackle, you protect from inside to out. You're bringing a Mike and nickel pressure from the outside. You take care of the Mike linebacker. You take care of the defensive end. You leave the widest man free, so you're going to let that nickel come free, and that's on the quarterback.
For Paul, 7 tackles, 2.5 for loss, and that sack to bring up 4th down. As Cole Wilson is back to receive the punt from Steindorf with 9:14 left in the first half. It is 16-3 for the Word. Back to work on offense starting at their own 35. This Incarnate Word made the trip up from the 210 to the 701 here in Fargo, North Dakota, and they're putting it on the reigning champs 16-3, and they take back over on offense at their own 35. Hello to everyone at Smoke Barbecue. Thanks for hanging out with us. Great start for your Cardinals tonight. Lindsey Scott, the favorite to win the Walter Payton Award in the FCS, takes back over and throws too tall for his wide receiver Darian Chafin, his favorite target along with Taylor Grimes, one of the top receivers in the country.
Now this defense, first 2 possessions of the game, got marched down the field, 2 touchdowns, and since then have not given up a single point. Great red zone stop. Previous drive, they're gaining confidence each and every play. Just need a little bit more help, Drew, from their offense, from the buddies on the other side. Take some pressure off.
Yeah, 2 total yards for the Bison. 2nd down and 10. Scott checks it down. Marcus Cooper has plenty of room, picks up the first down, and tumbles forward near midfield with a gain of 15 to the 50-yard line.
Well, the thing I like about Lindsey Scott is everything, to be honest. But what I really like watching tonight is just the maturity to get through his reads. He's a 7th-year guy. Just take the check down and see what he can do with it.
Wasting no time. 1st down and 10. Scott guns it sideline. Weber is there and hauls it in stride. An interception for Dawson Weber. His 2nd game in a row with a pick, and he sets up the Bison at their own 10.
Well, I don't like that from Lindsey Scott, just completely staring down the receivers, and the receivers actually got tangled up on the right. So you see him having to double clutch, and then tremendous job by Dawson Weber there. Single high safety. Let's look at these two receivers. Got a little bit tangled up. Great job on the back end. And as a quarterback, once you start double clutching and looking down the field like that, good safeties like that in the single high are going to go make a play in the football. Great jump on it by the Weber.
Weber's 4th pick of the season, tops on the team, and he's picked off 2 of the best quarterbacks in the country. Michael Hires of Sanford last week and Lindsey Scott of Incarnate Word tonight. NDSU back to work with Kobe Johnson, testing the right side. And he falls forward with a gain of 7 on first down. Dante Thompson makes the tackle. They had 2 yards total coming into this drive.
Oh, we just said, this defense has really stepped it up since about midway through the first quarter. Now it's time for the offense to do their thing. Now it's time for them to put it together a drive, give their defense a break. Would love to see a nice 4 or 5 minute, move the ball down the field, see if you can get in the end zone.
This offense is no slouch, man. They're top 20 in the country, over 35 points per game. Miller on the bootleg, throws again, overshot his target, and that one was dangerous. Elliott Davison had his hands on it as he went to the carpet. Miller throws it high again.
I kind of alluded to this before earlier. You get a good rushing play, and then you try to get a little bit cute with a play-action play. Just you hit him once, you hit him in the mouth, you get to a second and medium, run the ball again, get to a third and short. Just one rush does not mean that you can all of a sudden play-action pass and try to take something down the field.
54% on the season on third down, second best in the country. 0 of 6 tonight. There's their first one. It's TK Marshall moving the chains, and North Dakota State bringing some life back to the Fargo Dome after the gain of 8. Let's go down to Maryland.
OC Tyler Roll's message to the O-line before they took the field here: we need to be more solid up front on the inside. It's not that their line is owning us right now. We need a better 1-2 step, and we can get back in this.
There's Cody Mauk, projected as a 1st or 2nd round pick in the NFL. Senior from here in North Dakota. Watch him on the left side of this O-line. On 1st and 10, it's Marshall again, fighting forward to pick up 2 or 3 on first down. And Tyler Roll said something that we got a real kick out of this week. He said, we're an old school offense. People talk about RPOs a lot these days, run pass option. For us, RPO is run, power, often.
Run it, run it, run it. Get that fullback involved, get that offensive line, get those guards pulling around. The one thing that we are seeing miss from this offense, and we weren't sure if we're going to see him or not, is you want to talk about running the football, but Cole Payne, the backup quarterback, more of the runner, warmed up, and have not seen him yet in this ball game.
Midway through the second down and 7. Miller with time, now flushed by Paul. Miller, you see the speed. This guy can move. The quarterback is into Incarnate Word territory and dragged down inside the 45 by Caleb Culp.
Well, I think Cam Miller is like, wait, you want to talk about a running quarterback? Well, watch me do my thing. Just taking off. Nothing open. Actually had the deep route there. A little bit of a push off, but whatever. Just take off. And that looked like a very, very frustrated run right there. And good to get going a little bit. That's what he can do. Once again, he's labeled as, hey, well, I'm the passer of the 2 quarterbacks, but he's always a threat to pull it down and run in and get big plays, and great protection up front. See the running back staying in there too, helping out the chips.
And Miller, they'll tell you, he's not quite as fast as Trey Lance. Not many guys are, but he's got plenty wheels, and that's bad news for Incarnate Word there as Isaiah Paul a little banged up. He's been their best player tonight. He appears to be okay, and I think the fans here at the Dome are saying, well, why were you down? It was a 35-yard gain for Cam Miller. Remember, NDSU had been struggling to run the ball all night.
Well, I know they've been trying to take some shots. They've been trying to do some play actions. This would be a good opportunity. This player next, you've got inside the 45-yard line. Yeah, the defense has been aggressive. Just hit off a big run. See if you can take a shot off the top.
Couple guys in motion. Miller on the keeper after the 35-yard carry. Miller has another first down near the 25 of the Incarnate Word defense. A 16-yard gain for QB1.
Oh, they've been struggling running the ball traditionally. They've been struggling a little bit getting under center, I formation. Like we just had the graphic, the run power off often. They haven't had a lot of success with that, but when you add the quarterback in, when you add an extra player on the offense, we always talk about an extra player on defense, put an extra hat in the box, bringing in a safety. Well, what's your adjustment on offense? Get the quarterback to run then.
Keep an eye on Big 70, bottom of your screen, Cody Malk. He leads the way for Kobe Johnson. Around the right side. There goes Johnson, tripped up inside the 5. Caleb Culp saved a touchdown. They got big number 70 to the second level, and Johnson took advantage.
Oh, Malk had no one to block. Number 70, the right tackle, literally went to go block a linebacker. They moved him over, unbalanced formation. He's like, all right, no one's here. Let me get to the safeties. Great job.
Not a hold.
Not a hold. Not a hold. Hands up. A great job. No adjustment from the defense. They moved the tight end over to play left tackle over to the right side.
First and goal from inside the 5. Miller in the pistol. Gives it to Johnson. He's got speed, and he's got 6. Touchdown, Bison.
Well, that had to feel good. Offensive line, this offensive line doing what we thought they could do. Great push, little bit of a hold. They got away with it there from number 83. But regardless, this offense moved the length of the field. Didn't know if they could do it. Much needed touchdown here at the end of the second quarter.
8 plays, 93 yards for NDSU in just under 4 minutes. Griffin Crosa adds the extra point, and the Bison are right back in this thing.
Well, it was Cam Miller and his legs moving the ball down the field, and then get inside the 10. Kobe Johnson doing his thing. First touchdown for North Dakota State.
.93 yards in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Matt Entz's team is within 6 against the high-flying Incarnate Word Cardinals.
Drew, it's been an emotional roller coaster for the Bison fans here tonight.
Just getting here was probably an emotional roller coaster.
I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster for me, a Southerner, driving here.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the guy that lives in Connecticut from Minnesota making me, a guy from Tampa, drive in the snow.
That was my fault you weren't ready to go, man.
Very scary.
Under 5 minutes left in the first half. Incarnate Word will go back to work on offense, and Cole Wilson is dangerous with the ball in his hands. 2 punt return touchdowns this season, and he takes it out past the 25. It is a very impressive true freshman wearing 21 for UIW, and we will step aside before the Cardinals take back over on offense with 4:40 to play until halftime. Bison are down by 6, but they just went 93 yards for a touchdown to get within 6, and now G.J. Kinney's UIW offense takes back over. The 34-year-old is off to San Marcos to take over Texas State after the season ends. Will it be tonight, or will it be January 8th in Frisco, playing for a national championship? Lindsey Scott Jr. back to work. Calls his own number and gets wrapped up in a hurry. That's Cole Wisniewski, 31 in green and gold in their first.
Oh, this defense and this crowd is all of a sudden back into the game. You see the first 2 drives, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. Since then, only 69 yards given up on 22 plays. They have come to life here in the Fargo Dome. Look like they finally got out of bed. I know it was nice and comfy in this cold weather.
They finally defrosted after the drive-in. Scott looks. Scott throws incomplete. Great coverage again by the experienced secondary. It was Destin Talbert to blow it up. Jalen Campbell, the intended target.
I think right now the keys is first down success. I know it's pretty obvious, but I know this offense, and I know the quarterback is thrown for a bajillion yards and 60 touchdowns, but still, make it hard on him. Get to him with second and long. Get him to a third and long. And what do you have to do? Put an extra defender in the box and slow them down on first down.
UIW only 1 of 6 on third down. They're third best in the country, right behind NDSU. And before the snap, a flag flies.
False start, 77 offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
It's Jaden Borjas. It is loud in here. As the noise gets turned up to 11. Another whistle.
Please put 3:57 on the game clock. 3:57, please.
Incarnate Word will take the chance to talk it over. There's G.J. Kinney. He's never coached in one place for more than a season. It's been a pretty incredible run for him, who again at the age of 34 will be taking over Texas State after the season. We'll see what his high-flying offense has here for third down and 15.
It's going to be most likely some sort of shell defense or 2 high safeties. Opportunity middle of the field. If not, just be smart with the football and check it down.
Scott to his right. Feels the heat and gets dumped. It's Spencer Wagey to drop him at the 10. And Lindsey Scott is still down.
Oh, they try to go for it. You see 4 verticals down the field. Vertical. No one's open. But this goes back to, Drew, what we talked about at the beginning of the game, just staying disciplined in your rush lanes, keeping outside leverage, not letting him escape to extend the plays, feeling like he has to turn up and get back to the middle of the field where the heart of the defense is. And they've done such a better job here past quarter and a half of staying disciplined, of limiting his ability, Lindsey Scott's ability to escape and use his legs. We have not seen as many big plays with him running the football, which really got this offense going there to start this ball game. And sometimes, listen, you can't practice against what Lindsey Scott does. Your scout team guys can't run this offense as well, so you can watch the film, you can practice against it, but until you see it in real life and see the speed in which the offense is run, it takes a little bit of time to get adjusted to. And right now they seem to be up to tempo with this Cardinal offense.
Yeah, they have settled in. Matt Entz used his first time out to freeze the clock at 3:46 as Jaden Price has some room on the punt return. There goes Price inside the 30. Jaden Price takes it in the red zone for North Dakota State.
Once again, a big punt by these punters. And when you give these athletes an opportunity to get a 10-yard head start, they're going to make a play and make a play in a big, big way. And we talk about momentum in football, and it's for those who haven't been a part of it, it's real, man. Sometimes when you're getting knocked around a little bit, you can feel it and you're on your heels. But right now, all of a sudden, a couple things go your way. You get some momentum on your side, and it feels like you can't do anything wrong. And right now, defensively, they can't. And we'll see if this offense can put back-to-back scoring drives together on a short field.
Back in that I formation. And it's Kobe Johnson who gets crumpled in a hurry. It looked like it was Olivier Charles Pierre, big number 0 in there. That had to hurt for Kobe Johnson.
Well, the success we saw the previous drive was not in the I formation. It wasn't with the fullback. It wasn't with the power. It was with the quarterback in the gun, zone reads, play action, having him run the football, having him be creative with his legs. That extra runner inside the box. We'll see if they'll incorporate him a little bit more. They love to do it inside the red zone.
Well, you saw Johnson a little gimpy there. Keep in mind, no Tamarick Williams tonight for North Dakota State. So TK Marshall's the running back who swings out. Miller on the keeper. Just as you called, partner, Miller can damage you with his legs. Takes it inside the 15 to bring up 3rd down and 5. Caleb Culp and Isaiah Paul combined on the tackle.
I think the matchup that we all need to be watching the rest of the night is Cam Miller running the football versus Isaiah Paul, number 21, linebacker. Those two getting matched up in the quarterback run game. Because right now, still, they have not had a lot of success throwing the football. But the quarterback run has been the big deal. So we'll see if they go back to it here on the 3rd down.
North Dakota State says, take a look for targeting. So we will go back and see if any Cardinals are guilty here after the run by Cam Miller, who's up to 54 yards on 7 carries. That's Caleb Culp. What do you think, partner?
I think it checks a lot of the boxes.
It looks pretty bad.
It looks pretty bad. It lowering the head, making contact with the crown of the head, head-to-head, helmet-to-helmet contact.
Now,
just keep your head up, man.
One of the criteria for targeting is a crouch followed by an upward and forward thrust.
I think more than anything, you see the defender right at this instance lowers the crown of his helmet, making contact with an offensive player above the neck and shoulder area.
Definitely led with the crown of his helmet. Small radius from the top of the helmet around. Looks like it checks that box as well.
These are situations right now. You work enough drills with dummies and bags where you learn to get low, keep your helmet up, see what you hit, put your face mask on the ball carrier. And it's partly here to protect you too. Like when you lower your helmet like that, you get jarred back too and put a lot of pressure on your spine and your neck.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting. 3rd down.
I guess I got to clean up because I thought that was clear-cut targeting.
Yeah.
Helmet lowered, helmet-to-helmet contact.
I do think it might have looked worse than it actually was because his helmet kind of jarred back, but that was because of the helmet-to-helmet contact. So Matt Entz is befuddled just like we are. But it's a huge plus for Incarnate Word if Caleb Culp can stay out there as we see 20 coming back in. He's got over 80 tackles coming in, second most on the team behind Kelechi Anya-Lebechi, number 8 in white and red, who's been quiet tonight. 3rd down and 6. They snap it quickly. Miller around the left side. Miller dives forward. He's got enough, I think, for a 1st down.
All right, listen, this is just going to be a ball game for Miller where it's not, hey, we worked all week on this pass and that pass and our running game and the power. No. We're throwing that out. We're throwing that out. Right now, this game is going to come down to you running the football in order for us to move the football and for us to score points. And right now, these past 2 drives, he's kind of putting the team on his back doing it.
Back under center with a stacked eye. They give it to TK Marshall. Marshall shot out of a cannon, goes down at the 2. Again, Caleb Culp involved in the tackle along with Elliott Davison. The 2 safeties team up to bring down the Minneapolis native with under 1:20 to play in this first half. And North Dakota State content to bleed the rest of this clock,
yes.
Not give Incarnate Word a chance.
Just slow. I want to use all 25 seconds of that play clock, snap it under 5, bleed this thing out.
Still 2 timeouts for the Bison. Under a minute to play in the first half. I formation again. Play fake for Miller. Miller pumps. Miller keeps. Miller scores.
Well, we go to back to last week's game. The Cardinals defense gave up 87 rushing yards to the quarterback. Right now, looks like North Dakota State, like we've been talking about, saying, hey, go do your thing, man. We'll give you, if it's there, throw it, but if not, your legs are going to get this thing done for us tonight.
Miller's 15th rushing touchdown of the season. Griffin Crosa adds the extra point, and North Dakota State leads for the first time tonight.
Hey, listen, Drew, it was ugly. It was ugly early. They stayed in it. Defense stayed in it. And all of a sudden, offense, back-to-back touchdowns to take their lead.
Yeah, it was 22-3 on the scoreboard for a second when Incarnate Word scored a touchdown with Taylor Grimes. They went to review, said no catch, no touchdown. That's what the scoreboard looks like now after Cam Miller's 15th rushing touchdown of the season. NDSU leads for the first time tonight. Will Cardinal kicks it away. And UIW will start at the 25 after Cole Wilson lets it bounce. Well, folks, 'tis the season for bowl games, and we've got 4 more for you tomorrow on ESPN and the app. Starting at 11 a.m. Eastern with Cincinnati and Louisville. The Scott Satterfield Bowl might be kind of awkward at the Fenway Bowl. Then Florida takes on number 14 Oregon State, followed by Rice and Southern Miss. We cap the day with North Texas and Boise State in the Frisco Bowl, presented by ServPro. One of these teams is going to Frisco for the national championship on January 8th, and we've got a good one brewing here in Fargo. Lindsey Scott Jr. back out there, back to work. Sets it up to Darian Chafin. His top wideout is stood up after a gain of 2. They only have 1 timeout left with under 40 ticks and running. Incarnate Word content to go fast. They operate at warp speed no matter the time. 2nd down and 8. Scott back to the air. Right side complete. Chafin stays in bounds, but the clock will stop on the 1st down with 21 seconds to play. And they're set when the ball is set. Scott pumps, steps up, throws, off balance, out of bounds into the stands at the Fargo Dome. Nice catch by our man in the gray sweatshirt.
It's a smart move there by Dante Thompson. You talk about guys that have played a lot of football, senior leaders on the back end, junior leaders on the back end, not biting for the double and go. Stutter step move from the outside from the receiver, staying on top, making sure everything's in front here with 13 seconds to go here in halftime.
On 2nd down and 10, Scott standing tall, incomplete. What a play by Dawson Weber. Have yourself a first half, number 2. An interception and that PBU.
I mean, he's been all over the place. Special teams on defense. You see him just watching the quarterback's eyes and just gets enough on it to knock it away.
Still 1 timeout for UIW. Their kicker, Carson Moore, has a career long of 48. Right now to around the 30 on the other side. Maybe the last play of the half. Scott didn't see the heat, and he goes down in a heap. Ball came out, picked up by a Cardinal offensive lineman. That was Jaden Borjas. And Spencer Wagee with his 2nd sack of the first half. The Bison are feeling it going to the locker room. Whew. That's a tale of 2 quarters here at the Fargo Dome. NDSU took their first lead with under a minute left in the first half. It's 17-16 at the break. We've got a good one here in Fargo. Let's go back to the studio and zoom in. All right, Marilyn, Incarnate Word, 16 points in the first quarter, scoreless in the second. They had scored 213 points in the second quarter, an average of 16. Tonight, Zippo. They started the game with the ball after winning the toss, electing to receive. So North Dakota State and Jalen Bussey start with it in the 3rd quarter. And Bussey is out to the 25, and that's where the Bison will begin in the 3rd quarter. So, Aaron, what do you think changed for North Dakota State offensively?
Oh, just the quarterback run game. I mean, we talked to the Cardinals defensive staff this week, and they knew they had to put an extra defender in the box, bring a safety in, they do a lot of that already, but when they do that, to match numbers for an offense, your counter then all of a sudden is, okay, we're going to run the quarterback to add an even, a greater number there and a new threat. So I think they've done a great job with Cam Miller. Obviously, the great escapability on the long run was tremendous, but they're struggling with their traditional run game. He's been the one to get it going with his legs.
Kobe Johnson is the running back, dotting the I. He gets the call on the first play of the third quarter. Caleb Culp chops him down after a gain of 5.
I am interested. You go back to last week with this defense and 700-plus yards given up on the field for over 100 plays, They were worn down, and you are at the part of the season where legs are heavy, you're tired, you're on the road right now, you're going against a physical offense that's a little bit different from what you're used to facing. Does the offensive game plan, the physicality in which North Dakota State really start to show itself here in the second half?
On second down and 5, there is the quarterback run game, and there's the first down of the second half as Cam Miller takes it past the 40-yard line. Kelechi Anyalabechi on the tackle, gain of 11.
Well, they've done that a few times in this game of get the jet sweep going, get linebackers and safeties' eyes just a little bit out of place, and as soon as you do that and then add the quarterback run with a running back blocking, just too easy for the offensive line to get to that second level. They have the angles at that point, and then Cam Miller's just seeing the field so well when he decides to pull down and run it.
Back on the ground, this is TK Marshall, finds his seam and gets tripped up by the shoestrings. Across midfield to the 49, Isaiah Paul will get credit for the tackle after a gain of 9. What's even more impressive about Cam Miller running the ball, Aaron, is he is not really a threat to throw right now. He completed his first pass for 5 yards. Since then, he's 0 for 8. He's up to 10 carries for 70 yards as North Dakota State has gone one-dimensional, and it's working since the second quarter.
Well, you may start to see a defense that's already pretty aggressive, start to get even more aggressive, even more bare fronts to see if they get some pressure in the backfield.
This is Johnson. Around the left side, Kobe Johnson with space and speed. Johnson down the sideline. Flag comes in as he rolls into the end zone. A muted celebration right now at the Fargo Dome. For now, it's a 49-yard score. Oh, man, that came in when he was clear of the defense.
Tell you what, it's been a very passionate fan base anytime a flag has been thrown this evening.
No foul on the play. Touchdown.
Yeah, I was about to say, just looking at replays and looking at it live, I really didn't see any sort of holding or anything to bring this thing back.
Look at Cody Malk.
And he's...
Whoa! Dummy high five.
Yeah, nothing there. Great job picking that flag up. Great blocking on the perimeter from the receivers. And that's why you stay committed. You run it, you wear defense out, and then boom, all of a sudden, you get the big run on the outside.
Crosa adds the extra point. It's a 49-yard house call for one of the fastest running backs in America, and Cody Malk loving it.
Oh, this offense found their identity in the second quarterback, run the football with the quarterback, and then all of a sudden, things start to open up for the running back. Big touchdown to start the half.
Fargo celebrating a touchdown. Give me some. Not so much from Incarnate Word.
Got a nice butt slap though.
Celebration
great.
At the Fargo Dome. And Cody Malk's going to be playing in the NFL after this year. And check out the transformation from when he was a wee 6'5", 221 tight end recruit to now in 2022 when he looks like a guy who his head coach Matt Entz told us would fit right into Game of Thrones or that show Vikings.
No, he is a Viking at 6'6", 303. Still moves tight end-esque down the football field. Great athleticism, and you saw where Mel Kiper has him on his big board for offensive tackles heading into next year's draft.
Cody Malk also lost his baby teeth. Malk is a guy ranked 49th overall according to ESPN right now, number 5 offensive tackle. One scout says he blocks to the echo of the whistle. Not just the whistle, the echo of the whistle.
You know, if you're going to be an offensive lineman, you got to have some nastiness in you. You got to have that passion to want to literally put your defender in the ground every single play. He's got the strength and he's got the athleticism to do it and do it at the next level for sure.
All right, remember, folks, Lindsey Scott Jr., most prolific player in the country this year, started 5 for 5. He's now 11 of 22. And on first down and 10, he will pitch it. Left side, Marcus Cooper. Their RB1 got decked. Michael Tutsi said, sit down right here.
I'm looking at my notes with Tutsi. It says, great run fitter. That's how you fit the run right there. Downhill safety.
Tutsi and Nick Kubitz combined for the tackle on 2nd and 7. It's a gain of 1, maybe 2 for the word. Cooper again brings up 3rd down. And listen to this play shake. Cardinals 1 of 8 on 3rd down tonight. That pass is complete. That's Cole Wilson who sheds a tackle and picks up the 1st down for the Cardinals to quiet the fans in here for a moment.
Man, great route. Gonna fake like he's gonna go to the outside. Puts his foot in the ground. Bam! Perfectly thrown ball on time. And that's the key is on time, in rhythm. Allow him to do something with it after the catch.
Again, it's Wilson who delivers some punishment against Tutsi, the true freshman against 6th-year senior.
The hard part is for any defense, once this offense gets going, once they get into their tempo and get a 1st down, they're hard to stop.
Scott will throw again. Rifles it left side complete. Taylor Grimes, and now the Cardinals are rolling.
Well, it's just that one-on-one quarters coverage on the outside. Anytime you get both receivers going vertical, it turns into man coverage. And you got one of your top receivers one-on-one on the comeback. Perfectly thrown ball.
Scott's completed 3 in a row. Again, it is Wilson on the screen. And he got taken down by Dawson Weber. You see number 2 in green and gold looks a little shaken up. That'd be a massive loss. He's been so good for them for 6 years, especially tonight. He had an interception in the first half. His 4th of the season, most on the team. Back-to-back games with a pick. Defensive coordinator David Braun says, Dawson's friends with everyone. Energy source, lights up a room. And right now the entire Fargo Dome waiting to see if number 2 is okay.
Yeah, he's been all over the place this evening. Interception. The big tip pass there before halftime. And good to see him get up, move that arm around a little bit. Hopefully just shaking up a little bit, making the tackle coming downhill. Nice tackle, nice form tackle.
Good news for North Dakota State is they've got a guy in Dom Jones, who David Braun says would start at pretty much any program in the country. Instead, he rotates through this experienced secondary, number 10 in gold, in the top right of your screen. Empty set for Scott, who throws quickly, right side complete. That's Darian Chafin. The other part of that 1-2 punch along with Grimes, both guys top 10 in the country in receiving, sets up 3rd down and 2.
That's a great job by the offensive line. You see the all-out pressure, inside pressure from the linebackers and safeties, taking those most dangerous, allowing the quarterback to get the ball off.
Weber's back in there. Scott keeps it. Right side, puts the shoulder down. Lindsey Scott all the way down to the 31-yard line. Cody Heisman will get credit for the tackle along with Destin Talbert, but that was tough running for 14 yards. Saw G.J. Kinney saying, Lindsey talking with his quarterback. Both those guys one and done at Incarnate Word this year. Scott feels the pressure and evades it. And there goes Lindsey Scott. He opts not to face contact from Dawson Weber, out of bounds with a gain of 2.
A nice stunt. Little nose tackle stunt, put some pressure. And then you get the defensive end on the outside. All of a sudden now you're seeing safeties not backing up as much, eyes on the quarterback, ready to get downhill, as we have yet another Bison down.
That's Loshaka Rokes, one of the guys who rotates through that front four. Rokes recovered a fumble in the first half. From Maple Grove, Minnesota, went to Wayzata High School, where he led the Trojans to a 13-0 record and a Minnesota State championship as a senior. He had 18 sacks that year for the Trojans' fourth state title since 2005. Good to see Rokes walking off on his own. Remember, this is a banged-up Bison group. Will Mostart still out, one of the best defensive linemen in the country. Broke his leg earlier this year. Also, Luke Wirtz not playing tonight, hurt last week against Sanford. It was the 10th play of the drive already for Incarnate Word. Cooper in motion. Scott looks the other way, scans his progressions, throws. Wilson somehow brought that in. Inside the 15, the true freshman looked it in all the way.
And one-on-one with Dom Jones, and great recovery. Ball's a little bit behind, but then the concentration is stupid good to reel that one in for the first down.
Again, Scott Solo in the backfield. Takes the snap, runs to his left, down at the 6. And now the Word has found the groove again.
I just love when he pulls it down and runs and slithers his way through defenders and offensive linemen and gets skinny at times, and then bam! He hits the accelerator. They've called his number a ton every time they get inside the 10-yard line. We'll see if they do it again.
Two men in the backfield. Wilson's one of them. Motion man C.J. Hardy. Scott looks. Scott throws over the middle. There's Chafin, the touchdown machine, but he gets dropped this time. Michael Tutsi brings him down inside the 5. And Darian Chafin a little slow to get up. Chafin scored his 18th touchdown of the season to open the scoring tonight. Tops in the country.
No, we haven't talked much about this offensive line besides the first quarter. They really relied on these guys to really impose their will. We saw a lot of the left guard, left tackle pull power to the right. Haven't seen as much of that in the second and now in the third quarter here in their first possession. But man, if I'm calling a play right now, I'm trusting that offensive line. I'm going downhill. I'm going to get this first down.
Play clock is under 5. Scott from the shotgun gives it to Cooper, ducks forward. It'll depend on the spot. Looked like Tony Pierce was in there first, and they should have enough to move the chains and set up first down and goal.
Oh, offensive line got it done, but I tell you what, man, this defensive line has definitely stepped their game up. These runs that we were seeing from the running backs for the Cardinals of 5, 6, 7 yards, now all of a sudden struggling to get a couple yards in the run game.
Mike Leftwich, their offensive coordinator, said he feels like that's kind of what sets us apart from previous Southland Conference teams who have had to come up here, the offensive line. What do they got here on first down and goal? Again, the play clock winds down to 5, midway through the third quarter. Back to Cooper. Cooper dancing, twisting down at the 1. Again, it's Michael Tutsi, as that secondary proves they can tackle like linebackers. This Fargo Dome is loud. You can feel the buzz. I don't see a whole lot of NDSU fans sitting down.
Oh, that's because they didn't want to. They want to get going. They know the pride in this stadium. The record, home record. They've played their part to make it happen. I'm calling the same play.
15th play of the drive. Scott calls his own number. Shakes free and scores. Another touchdown for Lindsey Scott Jr.
I mean, he's stout. He's 5'11", 212. Not a big guy, but just finds a way to shed tacklers, to not really give up his full body where guys are bouncing off, or he's able to bounce off in order to get into the end zone. And obviously they're going to go for 2 here to see if they can tie this thing up. I'm going to find some way to get him on the run, get him outside the pocket, see if he can get a receiver open. If not, let him become Mr. Magic Man, see if he can get the end zone with his legs.
He just scored his 70th total touchdown of the season. Oh, a little shovel pass. Grimes going nowhere. No gain on the 2-point conversion attempt. And NDSU stays out in front by 2 after the 15-play, 75-yard drive punctuated by the Lindsey Scott touchdown.
Well, Lindsey Scott doing his thing, getting in the end zone. Great drive, great response. San Antonio's enjoying it. Still down 2, though.
NDSU starts inside its own 20 after a big hit on the kickoff return, and just under 7 to play in the third quarter. Here goes Cam Miller, QB1, dangerous with his legs. Kelechi Anyalabeci, one of the best players in the country, Southland Conference Defensive Player of the Year, brings him down.
You were just been waiting all game to say that. You said it with a smile on your face, too.
Just rolls off the tongue, right? Yeah. Kelechi Anyalabeci. You want to try it out?
Next time he makes a tackle.
Okay, good. Anyalabeci is Mr. Do-It-All for this defense. He's got 4 return touchdowns, including one last week, a 55-yard scoop and score. And he also leads the team with 112 tackles coming in. Miller again on the ground, right side. Look at the speed from the quarterback, looking like a vintage Aaron Murray as Brian Mays forces him out of bounds.
Well, I don't know. I mean, over under 5 more attempts for him in this ball game. I think they've fully decided there midway through the second quarter that, man, we are going to be, and we are a rushing football team like that. There's no questioning that. Like, North Dakota State is a running football team, and usually between the 20s, it's more of Cole Payne if you want to get the quarterback going, but a little bit nicked up after last week's game. So really that pressure has now been put on Cam Miller to be that full-time running quarterback, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Back on the ground this time with the running back, Kobe Johnson. Twirled down after a short gain by Elliott Davison coming in from the safety spot. Davison playing behind Anyalabeci. We mentioned the Southland Conference Defensive Player of the Year, leading the team in tackles for the 3rd consecutive season. He had 130 last year, which broke a program record.
So this is going to be the interesting spot for the Bison. Second and long situation. Only 1 completion tonight. You want to make it a 3rd and manageable. Do you throw the football, or do you get your quarterback on the move and give him the option to possibly run 2?
Braylon Henderson in motion. He gets the sweep around the right side. Henderson feels it from Anyalabeci, and 3 Cardinals come in to make the play after a gain of 2. Brandon Richards, 7, was in there as well.
Oh, we've praised Isaiah Paul this entire football game. Done a great job at the linebacking spot. But really, this has been the drive for Anyalabeci. See, I did it right there.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not too shabby. It does roll off the tongue nicely. But his speed from sideline to sideline is just, it popped off the tape. There's a reason why he had 130-plus tackles last year, and a reason why he continues to lead this team.
Folks in the upper Midwest, that might be Kelechi Anyalabeci. I'm from Minnesota, I can say it. Under 10 on the play clock. Miller to throw, stands in there and does throw, incomplete. He was looking for Eli Green, the redshirt freshman from Farmington, Minnesota. Brandon Richard with good coverage to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, just your normal sail route from the slot receiver. Great coverage. A little bit of a hold there, got away with it, but the ball fluttered a little bit too long in the air. Some pressure on the quarterback allowed Richard to get in there and make a play on the football, and that was, we'll talk about a much-needed stop for this defense, who really came out guns blazing for the first quarter and a half and kind of just has slowed down their pace as of late. For them, that was a major confidence boost to get off this field and get their offense in good field position, see if they can regain the lead in this game.
Caden Steindorf with a punt that spirals and kind of died in midair and bounces just inside the 40-yard line after Cole Wilson let it roll. Only a 31-yard punt. Sets up Incarnate Word with good field position, down by 2. Cardinals in the semifinals for the first time. They'd actually never been to the quarterfinals and went into North California and beat Sacramento State, the number 2 seed. That's why we're playing here in the Fargo Dome. Gave North Dakota State a chance to host again. Tomorrow on ESPN2 at South Dakota State, the number 1 overall seed, the only FCS team to beat NDSU this year against Montana State in a rematch of last year's semifinal. Winner here goes to Frisco. Lindsey Scott on the give to Jarrell Wiley, and Wiley stuffed in a hurry. Javier Darrett in there on the tackle, and it's not just the passing game that slowed down for UIW, it's the run game as well.
Well, they tried the same thing, guard, tackle, pull, but no penetration on the front side by the offensive line.
This time Scott throws, and the pass is incomplete. It was Darian Chafin, his top wideout, who couldn't squeeze it. Looked like a good throw, maybe a little tall. Jaden Price on the coverage.
True, it was a beautiful throw. Ball was on time, in rhythm, right where you want it to be. Chafin kind of stumbled a little bit at the top of his route. I think lost some concentration. Being able to get his eyes on the football, went right through him, hit him pretty much right in the face mask. Got to be able to pull that thing in there for the first down.
Spoken like a true quarterback.
It's never our fault. It never is.
3rd down and 9. Wilson in motion. He gets the call. Wilson is dangerous. The punt and kick returner has a first down and then some for UIW inside the 45 of NDSU.
It's those 3rd and long situations where I just don't think anyone in the building is expecting a run, and then you hit him off with a jet sweep for a big first down.
No time for a replay. 1st down and 10. Incarnate Word in a hurry. Scott looked behind, lets it go inside the 5. That is caught by Taylor Grimes. Down to the 1-yard line. What a throw from Lindsey Scott on the move.
I mean, how good is Grimes, though, too? Like, yes, Lindsey Scott, the man, we know it, but, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive. Great spin, and then getting vertical, and then just enough separation to then go make the catch. For those who missed it last week, please go watch his game-winning catch in the back of the end zone. Was absolutely spectacular to see.
Again, it's Loshaka Rokes who needs a little extra time on the NDSU defense. But yeah, the game last week was an epic, absolute epic. 66-63 Incarnate Word over Sacramento State. Both teams scored 4 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. Not total, each. They both scored 4 touchdowns. That game ended at 1:46 local time here in Fargo. Checking out how UIW got here. That was their last game, their first one in the playoffs against Furman. Lindsey Scott making more magic. Just some ridiculous stuff. That time to Darian Chafin. This was last week against the number 2 seed Hornets. Hail Mary fell incomplete. Sac State out. Incarnate Word moving on. The only team with an upset in the quarterfinal round. And now G.J. Kinney's team is here in Fargo.
Well, they know to win close games, that's for sure. Those past 2 games within 3 points, just a field goal separating both of them. And it looks like the way this game is unfolding right now, down 2 points, it's going to be another 4-quarter battle. How much juice in the tank? I mean, that's going to be the question, and that's something that, as a leader on the football team, coach or player, whatever it is, you're looking at your team on the sideline saying, guys, this is it, man. You got this game. You got a quarter and a half, and you win it. You got a couple weeks off. You get some time off after this. You leave it all on the football field for both these teams here in this ball game tonight.
1st and goal from the Bison 1. Scott in the shotgun. Keeps it himself. Scott is in. Touchdown, Cardinals. Lindsey Scott 2nd on the ground tonight. His 71st total touchdown of the season puts Incarnate Word back on top.
I love the rushing touchdowns, but man, I want some passing. If you're going to do it, come on, pass the football. I want to see a record broken tonight, but no, he's just, both these quarterbacks, both these offenses, it inside the 5-yard line. Give the ball to the quarterback, throw it or run it. Let them go out there, best players on the field on both sides. Let them go out there, sniff that end zone and get in there.
Moore with the extra point to make it a 5-point Incarnate Word lead. Remember, they failed on a 2-point conversion earlier tonight. You surprised by that extra point rather than a 2?
Yeah, I love that. Just in case, listen, if say they score, then you only get a field goal and you're back in the lead all of a sudden again. So, great push by that offensive line. And let's take another look at San Antonio. They're feeling it. Smoked barbecue and Sky Bar there.
Oh, wow, they get some confetti.
Uh-oh.
Yes, and a gritty. Oh, my gosh, champagne?
Man, it looks warm there.
We're in a dome, dude. It's okay. Was that premature champagne? No, I mean, excited for a touchdown.
Don't peak too soon. Hey, they've been popping bottles for the past couple weeks the way their team's playing.
That's a great scene at Smoke down in San Antonio. Thanks for watching. What a season it's been for the Incarnate Word Cardinals. Again, never made it to the quarterfinals until this year. And they have their eyes set on Frisco. Kevin Wynn on the kickoff. Fielded by Bussey again at his 6. Here comes Jalen Bussey. Through a hole. Bussey tripped up just short of the 35-yard line. Good field position for the Bison, and Bussey says, I was that close to breaking free. Our Week 15 Monday Night Football matchup has Aaron Rodgers and the Packers hosting Baker Mayfield and the Rams. That's right, Baker Mayfield and the Rams at Lambeau Field. Both teams in must-win playoff scenario, I'd say. 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. The Manicast is on ESPN2. Coverage begins at 6 with Monday Night Countdown.
Is this it for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay? Is this the final run?
I don't know.
It kind of feels like it.
Looks like Jordan Love has a connection with the former Bison Christian Watson, who scored like 8 touchdowns in his last 4 games. There goes Cam Miller. Speaking of Bison in the NFL, their last 3 starting quarterbacks are all playing on Sundays now. Carson Wentz, Trey Lance, both high draft picks. Also Easton Stick, 3rd-string quarterback for the Chargers.
Yeah, I was with Carson his rookie year in Philly, and my goodness, talk about pro-ready because of the offenses they face here. Just football IQ was through the roof. His ability to come in there and learn Doug Pearson's playbook in year 1 and be able to go out there and execute that was just something to sit back watching. Like, my goodness, this kid's special.
2nd and 1 now. Miller uncorks up the seam. Lots of contact. 2 flags come in. He was trying to connect with Eli Green. Brian Mays will be guilty here.
Well, it's not a completion. They've been struggling in that department, but listen, the next best thing is getting a little PI.
Defense number 12. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Oh, you knew at some point they had to take a shot eventually. You know, not going to see a lot of these get this rest of this game the way they're running the football, but you know, you see safeties creeping in the box, trying to find a way to stop the run game. Good things happen sometimes. You take a shot down the field. You're going to get more opportunities. Like I said, I just don't think the way this game is going right now, the way your quarterback's running, the way your offensive line's starting to take over a little bit, I would continue to lean on them.
Maybe just keeping him honest with that deep shot there. TK Marshall on first down after the pass interference. Picks up 4.
Cody Mock doing Cody Mock things. Let's get a little replay of. I mean, look at that. It's true. I mean, he's going against.
Oh, he's just 375.
Yeah, 375. That's when you put on the highlight tape right there, saying, "Yeah, I just used one arm and tossed around a ginormous human being a little bit." But no. Go back to your thought of soft. I think this defense is the same mentality. Like, hey, man, we will give up the big play. We are not going to lose this game by them running on us.
2nd and 6. Miller with daylight. Brought down by one leg inside the 30. Again, Elliott Davison has to make the tackle from the safety spot. First down, Bison.
Well, I think you're seeing for both these teams right now how difficult it is in today's game. The big guy has to take a play off, lost his helmet. How difficult it is to face a running quarterback, especially with the size that we're seeing tonight and the speed from Cam Miller. And on the other side, like it's just that extra hat on offense is just too much to account for, even with a defense that wants to load the box.
Across the century mark, it's a new career high for Cam Miller of 101. This is Kobe Johnson. Nice tackle in the secondary by Caleb Culp. But again, a strong gain on first down. And you know, it's a great point, Aaron, because Cole Payton, again, dressed tonight. We haven't seen him. He's really the running quarterback of the two. Hurt his left foot on his first carry last week against Samford. And Tyler Roll, the offensive coordinator, said, Guys, Cole Payton looks like Tim Tebow. When he went out, he had to cross off. There is Cole Payton. Had to cross off about a third of his play sheet. But it looks like they've just transferred everything for Payton over to Miller, and he has delivered. This is TK Marshall. And Marshall has a first down, North Dakota State, refusing to go down at the 15.
Well, partner, didn't look like it to start the game. Cardinals came out 16-0. Looked like they're going to have their way. All of a sudden, 29-24, fourth quarter. We talk about Incarnate Word having a ball game last week, 4 quarters of magic and excitement. We're about to get another one here in the Fargo Dome. Let's go. Get your mind right.
Fourth quarter should be a lot of fun, folks. Do not go anywhere. This game has had pretty much everything. Fourth quarter should be more of the same. Incarnate Word leads by 5. Looking for their first ever trip to Frisco. North Dakota State's been there a bunch, trying to get back. 15 minutes left, NDSU down 5. I don't know if that's Hulk Hogan or Randy Savage, but either way. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Maryland Payne back with you. First down and 10 for Cam Miller and the Bison. Quarterback keeper. Miller to the left side, and he got crunched. That'll be a loss of 1 for Miller, who's already got over 100 yards to set a new career high.
I think messaging to him, too, is, hey, man, you're going to feel pretty bad after this game. Just to let you know, because you're not used to taking this kind of pounding. But win this, get a couple weeks off, get in that ice bath, get a couple massages. Like, you need to put this team on your back here in the red zone, see if you get in the end zone. And defensive-wise, it's tough. They're running the ball well, they're running back, but you also have to obviously keep an eye on the quarterback.
Second down and 10. Again, it's Miller, and again he gets dumped. It's Sam Latham for the second play in a row, and the senior from Austin sets up third down and long.
That's a huge play. This defense back-to-back times, eyes on the quarterback, not even looking at the running back. Same for those who watched last week. Big strip sack fumble for halftime. And all of a sudden, this football team's put in a situation where they have to throw the football. And we'll say it again, 1 for 10 tonight.
0 for his last 9. Instead, he'll run. On the quarterback draw. Flag comes down as Miller lowers the shoulder. This one might be coming back, though, as a flag is down next to a towel near the original line of scrimmage.
Holding. 77 offense. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
That's the center, Brandon Westberg.
Tell you what, there's no worse feeling as a quarterback to have a QB sneak, to run it, to lay your body on the line, to get the first down, and you look up and you see a little yellow flag on the ground. Like, my goodness, come on.
Only the second penalty for NDSU tonight. A clean game, only 6 combined penalties, 4 against Incarnate Word, one of the most heavily penalized teams in the country.
I think there's 2 things here. I think you run the football, or if you have an opportunity to maybe give Mathis a one-on-one opportunity on the outside, you maybe give him that shot. But you're playing here for points.
Mathis in the slot right on top of the hash marks. Miller with time, now flushed, throws, end zone, Mathis is there, incomplete. Elliott Davison on the coverage. Mathis was standing up the sideline. You almost looked like Tony Romo as they went to their big target.
Little risky throw, but if you get thrown to the big guy, that's the guy I'm throwing to back at the end zone. But better play there by Davison, getting his hand in there.
Brings out Griffin Crosa for a 47-yard attempt. Crosa 1 for 1 today. That is beautiful. End over end, center cut. Good from 47, might have been good from 57. Crosa fired up. That is a new career long of 47 yards for the redshirt junior from Ohio. NDSU is within 2. top of the Bison after a 47-yard bomb from Griffin Crosa. I might have gotten carried away saying it would have been good for 57. But either way, it was a great kick. It was a great kick, career long.
Hey, listen, it got the job done. Okay, that's it. Just put the ball through the uprights. He did it. 29-27.
This has been a phenomenal game, and we're just getting started in the fourth quarter as Will Cardinal sends it through the sky here at the Fargo Dome. Cole Wilson calls for the fair catch. Cardinals will start at the 25. Our Week 15 NFL Monday Night Football matchup has Aaron Rodgers and the Packers hosting Baker Mayfield and the Rams. That's on Monday Night Football. And do not forget tomorrow, the second FCS Division I semifinal on ESPN2. The top seed Jackrabbits of South Dakota State against the four-seeded Bobcats of Montana State and Brookings at 4 p.m. over on ESPN2. For more info, you can always go to ncaa.com. First down and 10. Lindsey Scott Jr. back at the controls, gives it to Marcus Cooper. Hop, skip, and a jump through the hole to pick up 5 to the 30.
Well, I talk about like Lindsey Scott and his ability to run and get skinny and maneuver around, but I'll tell you what, Cooper's acceleration when he decides to hit a hole has been impressive.
Scott completes. That's Taylor Grimes, one of his favorite targets. Ushered out of bounds by Destin Talbert as we go down to Maryland.
The Cardinals running effectively against a depleted NDSU D-line. Starting D-tackle Will Mostart is out for the game. A left knee injury. He's seated on the sideline with ice wrapped around that left knee right now, as well as LaShaka Ropes, who will not return with a left shoulder injury. Ice up in his shoulder pads. He holding his helmet on the sideline. Jake Cava, who was a starting D-end and now out for the season as a coaching assistant, walked over to those guys and said, I may have to go suit up if it's needed today. He wears number 54, so if you see a 54 out there, all of a sudden it's Cava.
All right, good call, Maryland, as UIW goes across the 50 with a first down. That's a banged-up unit for NDSU, but head coach Matt Entz said no one's going to feel sorry for the Bison.
Well, it's just a banged-up football team.
Yeah.
And listen, you get to this point of the season, and we got another Bison on the ground right now.
That's our leading tackler, James Kaiser.
It's just this time of year, they're missing their best fullback, missing a backup running quarterback, ton of guys on defense, and we'll see what this looks like, but almost like they're playing with a skeleton crew a little bit tonight, Drew, and it's tough.
Matt Entz will make the long stroll across the turf here at the Fargo Dome. Got to go from the NDSU sideline all the way over to the opposite side of the numbers. And part of why this program has been so great, this is going to sound like the biggest luxury in college football. They get 2.5, 3 weeks of extra practice pretty much every year between the semis and the finals.
Yeah.
So at that point, you can start working in the freshmen and the sophomores through practice. They're practicing against some of the best players in the country. Get them ready to contribute the following fall.
No, it's listen, the way they played last week, the way they've been playing this game, and obviously right in the thick of things, and this is going to be a heck of a fourth quarter, this last 11 minutes, 49 seconds, but you know, no coach is going to get on a call with us or the media and make any sort of excuse for, hey, we're missing this guy, it's unfair, feel bad for us. Like, no, this is football. We understand that what could happen, and it's always next man up mentality. And that's why you practice in the spring and summer and fall camp. You get those 2s and 3s ready to go for moments like this.
Good to see Kaiser walking off, a first-time All-Missouri Valley Conference player for the second time. First teamer, I should say. Started his career as a safety. Now their leading tackler at linebacker. As he walks off, Cole Wisniewski comes in, 31 in gold and green. Second down and 2 for UIW. Cooper waits, then hits the hole. Marcus Cooper with space, making Bison miss down near the 25 as number 25, Michael Tutsi, finally made the stop after 16 yards.
I mean, that cat, it's sexy. You see both guard and tackle pulling around, and then he just did the butt, and then brings it back to the inside.
Scott on the keeper this time. And this 1-2 punch in the backfield is so dangerous, especially running behind a really accomplished, experienced offensive line.
Well, I think this fourth quarter for me, what I'm going to be watching for on both sides is just the fatigue factor by these defensive lines. Both offenses have run the ball extremely effectively. Both offensive lines have played well throughout this ball game. It's going to be up to what defensive line makes enough plays, which defensive line can get a couple TFLs.
Scott spreads it out and throws a dart complete. Grimes. Tutsi on the coverage and the tackle to set up 3rd down and 1. And Taylor Grimes, first team All-Southland Conference this year, along with Darian Chafin. Both those guys also 3rd team All-Americans in FCS. 3rd down and 1. Scott running all the way, keeps it. The quarterback to the left side. Flag comes in as Scott stumbles out of bounds near the 10. We'll check the marker. It's in the vicinity of a hold.
Holding. 76 offense. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's Nash Jones, left tackle. And right there, North Dakota State they brought the all-out cover 0 blitz. One too many guys to block. Offensive line got thrown off a little bit, wanted to protect their quarterback. Ended up getting called for the hold on the outside.
It brings up 3rd down and 11, and they might try to get half of this and then go for it on 4th down. We asked Coach Kinney about his kicker Carson Moore's range. He said, really talk about that. We like to go for it on 4th down. Cooper, the motion man. Scott keeps it. Trying to get a chunk on 3rd down. He goes down near the original line to gain, maybe a gain of 3 to set up 4th down and 8. Dylan Hendricks on the tackle. And they will bring out the field goal unit as here comes Carson Moore. Career long is 48 back in 2020. Season long, though, only 38. He is perfect over his last 4 games, 5 of 5. This is a 41-yarder for Moore to extend the Cardinals' lead. On the way, end over end, that is pure. Smack dab in the middle of the NCAA logo. Good from 41, and how far, you think?
I mean, it could be good from about 60. I mean, he hit that thing true. He hit it pure. Extensively.
That was a beauty. Regardless of level, they find themselves in a 5-point hole against the upstart Incarnate Word Cardinals, making their first ever semifinal appearance. They had never been to the quarters until this year. They beat Sac State 66-63 last week. That kickoff is out of bounds, and North Dakota State will start with outstanding field position. Kevin Nguyen's kick out of bounds inside the 5. Bison are sitting pretty.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. Ball will be placed on the 30.
Now you see the playoff history for North Dakota State. This is a dynasty that runs back across multiple levels, all the way back to the 60s, really. They're a 3 seed for just the 2nd time in the FCS playoffs. Back in 2015, they also hosted a semifinal, and they won the national title over the 1 seed Jacksonville State. TK Marshall is the running back. He'll be the lead blocker for Cam Miller on the quarterback run. And Miller taken down after a short gain by Caleb Culp, who's been busy in the 2nd half.
Yeah, he did a great job by Isaiah Paul as well, who had a heck of a first quarter. Been a little bit quiet since, but does a great job stringing the quarterback out, forcing him to continue to run to the sideline. And right now, all of a sudden, you have to see a defense that's kind of settled down a little bit, understands what the game plan is on the offense side of the football. They know that number 7 most likely is going to be carrying that rock.
Kobe Johnson back in there next to Miller. Remember, no Tamarick Williams tonight, out with an injury. Miller finds space. This is bad news for Incarnate Word. Cam Miller hits the gas up the sideline inside the 35. Elliott Davison with the shoulder to end the run after a gain of 29.
Oh, this is the part when you want to play man-to-man defense on the backside and have no one ready for the quarterback. It just, at this moment, it's either I'm playing zone coverage or if I'm going to play man, you got to have someone athletic, a linebacker, nickel, safety, someone shadowing the quarterback, because we've seen his biggest runs have been on pass plays where no one's open down the field and he takes off and runs.
18 carries for $132 for Cam Miller. A career high on the ground and then some. Junior from Solon, Iowa. Back in the I formation, gets it to Johnson. Johnson finds a seam. There goes Kobe Johnson. Touchdown, Bison. His third touchdown tonight puts North Dakota State back in front.
It's the good old I formation power. You're getting the right guard pulling around. He's going to kick out. You have the fullback leading the way, and then great blocking downfield by the receivers.
Bison go for two. Look who it is. Cole Payton out there for the first time tonight. They like to use him in quarterback runs. He gives it on the sweep to Henderson. Braylon Henderson flips it in for two. Joe Stuffle brought it in the end zone. What a play for the Bison to go up by 3.
It starts with the offensive line. Fullback in, a great kick. Receivers blocking down the field. Kobe Johnson doing his thing. And then a little trickery going for 2. Jet sweep, not so fast. Oh no! Touchdown. 2-point conversion. They take the lead.
And it has put his North Dakota State Bison up 3. Midway through the fourth quarter in the FCS semifinals. Winner to Frisco January 8th to take on either the top seed Jackrabbits of South Dakota State or the 4 seed Bobcats of Montana State. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Marilyn Payne back with you. Thrilled to be here at the Fargo Dome. What a game it's been. A 16-0 lead for Incarnate Word. Came in here and stunned the NDSU faithful. Ever since, it's been back and forth and a lot of fun. Buckle up. Cole Wilson on the return for UIW. He is dangerous as a flag comes in. He was tripped down just in front of the 20. We'll check the penalty. It could be a long way to go for Lindsey Scott and UIW.
During the return, lock in the back. On the return team, number 25. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Zamari Maxwell, the guilty party. G.J. Kinney's team is the most penalized team in FCS, over 80 yards per game. That's their 6th penalty tonight. So here we go. Lindsey Scott Jr. He of the 71 total touchdowns, a D1 record. He's got a couple on the ground and 1 through the air tonight. He is the favorite to take home the Walter Payton Award as the best offensive player in FCS. Will he do it the night before his team plays in the championship? Scott tucks and slides. A solid chunk on first down to set up 2nd down and 3.
You know, for both defenses, that's always just, we saw it last possession. Just saw it there. Just so demoralizing. You do everything perfect on defense, but just a better athlete at quarterback.
On 2nd and 3, they set it up to C.J. Hardy, who picks his way forward down near the marker, and that's enough to move him. First down, UIW.
I go back to this. Can this defensive line, when they've had success in this game, it's because some disruptive play get them off schedule on offense.
Again, it's a short pass. Again, it's Hardy making Bison miss. He left Talbert in the dust to pick up a first down for the Cardinals.
Well, first off, great block by Grimes, number 16, going to lead the way. You like the number count outside. 1 blocked, 1-on-1. Make a miss, get the first down.
With the sound effects, too. Midway through the fourth quarter, another completion for Scott. That is Taylor Grimes. Another catch for the sure-handed senior and transfer from Illinois State.
Well, it's just this vertical passing attack from the spread offense, giving these receivers the opportunity. If the DB's on top, you put the brakes down.
Another short one. This is Wilson. Look at him. Hit the brakes and then the gas. Across midfield into Bison territory with a first down.
I mean, this is just backyard football. Give the man the ball with space. One-on-one. Once again, that's back-to-back opportunities for this defense to make a tackle.
Scott's been surgical on this drive. Now they give to Marcus Cooper, who falls forward for a gain of 5. And this is what we saw from Incarnate Word to start on those 2 touchdown drives to open the game.
Well, it's all the start. For any offense, you always have the feeling, especially this offense, because of the tempo, because of putting the defense on their heels, it's a little bit different than your traditional offense. But once you get a first down, and we've seen it across the country from Tennessee and other offenses that go super, super fast, as soon as you get that first down, it's off to the races.
There goes Cooper again. Plenty of space for the 6th-year senior, who's down inside the 30 for NDSU. Marcus Cooper continuing to churn up yardage. That one goes for 15. Dylan Hendricks made the tackle.
A tired defensive line right now. Slow to get down.
And no chance to sub. Scott with time. Throws up the sideline, incomplete, trying to find Grimes, the 3rd-team All-American. Good coverage from Courtney Eubanks. And Aaron, there's a lot of similarity between this offense and the Tennessee offense.
Yep.
G.J. Kinney came from UCF last year, coaching under Gus Malzahn, who replaced Josh Heupel.
Yep.
We've seen Tennessee with those wide splits at wide receiver plus the tempo. That makes it impossible for them to defend.
Well, what he did when he was down there at UCF, he actually sat down with Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback now at Oklahoma, but was with Coach Heupel there with the Knights, Golden Knights, and just watch what made that offense so successful, what gave Dylan Gabriel the most success as a quarterback, and has implemented a lot of those schemes into what he does on offense.
Wide splits again with 5 wide. That's caught by the other All-American receiver, Darian Chafin, to set up 3rd down and 4.
It's a great catch. Outside leverage, one-on-one. Fires it in there on the skinny. And it looks like he's banged up a little bit. Chafin.
Yeah, Chafin's been hobbled throughout the night. National leader in touchdown catches this year. They're going to have to stop the game to get 0 off. That is tough to see. It's been an amazing season for the grad student from Wichita Falls, Texas. 18 touchdowns to pace FCS, also top 5 in yardage, over 1,200 coming in. 3rd down, it's loud again. This time a tight set as Scott looks to throw. Incomplete. He was trying to find Grimes over the middle. Talbert was in pursuit. 4th down now, decision time for Coach Kinney.
Well, it's so funny. They ran the mesh concept. And if you go back and watch last week, the struggles against the mesh play for both defenses, but I don't know, man. I'm kicking the field goal here.
Wow.
I'm kicking the field goal. I know you're like Mr. Go for it on 4th down king over here, but
this is gutsy.
Your kicker just demolished his last field goal, put it right between the goalpost. I'm putting this game 35-35.
Hey, man, you don't get this. NDSU can kill a lot of clock with that ground game. And before they go for it, whistle and a timeout, Incarnate Word. G.J. Kinney, it's a good thing he's so young at the age of 34. He's really coaching 2 programs right now, Incarnate Word and Texas State of the Sun Belt. He got that job a couple weeks ago. UIW just announced his replacement, Clint Calo, the associate head coach, wide receivers coach, and recruiting coordinator. But for G.J. Kinney, what a season it's been at Incarnate Word, and no wonder he's getting a chance to move up. And for Calo, you think Kinney's young at 34. Calo's 29. UIW alum. He was a great wide receiver for the Cardinals. Class of 2015, now a head coach. Congratulations to Clint Calo. Big shoes to follow, and G.J. Kinney, he's keeping the offense out there. One of the most aggressive teams in the country on 4th down. They've got to deal with the noise at the Dome. Now a timeout.
North
NDSU.
Dakota State. First time out of the half, 30-second timeout.
Ooh, this is a chess match.
This is the ultimate chess match right now. What personnel you bring in, what formation you lining up. It is a big play. Once again, what are you doing? I'm kicking the field goal. I'm kicking the field goal. I'm going 35-35, and I'm going to tell my defense, get us one stop, and we're going to go win this football game.
Well, they're at the 22. It'd be about a 40-yarder. We just saw Carson Moore hit from 48.
Could have been good from 60.
Could have, legitimately, probably could have been good from 60. But, yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that gives me pause about going for it if I'm G.J. Kinney is the fact that Matt Entz's team will take the football and try to kill the clock on the next drive, right? 5:18, I mean, they can salt that away with
so
their
you agree, kick the field goal.
I think I'd kick the field goal here.
Kick the field goal.
But they have not gotten here by being passive. 4th down and 4. Let's try this for the 3rd time. Scott keeps. Scott to his right on the roll. Throws on the run. What a throw, but incomplete. It was Cole Wilson, the intended target. Michael Tutsi, the 6th-year senior in coverage. North Dakota State football.
Well, they're going to disguise. Looking like they're going to go too high. They actually bring some defenders in to slow down the run just in case the quarterback wanted to pull it down. An attempt, and just nothing there. Good coverage on the back end, and that's just a very, very tight window to have to make a absolutely perfect throw and perfect catch. Great execution by the defense. Now, all of a sudden, defense... Yeah, you talk about it, they can milk this clock right now, do their thing. You see this rushing attack right now. Cam Miller has been absolutely tremendous. 132 yards when plays break down, design quarterback runs, and then Kobe just gets stronger and stronger and stronger as the game has gone on.
Kobe Johnson dots the I in this old school smash mouth offense. Johnson finds some wiggle room and takes it out past the 30. 9 yards on 1st down. Caleb Culp on the tackle. And now the Cardinals are saying it's their ball. Did Johnson fumble at the end of this? I think everyone in the 2-1-0 is pointing in that direction. The 2nd down marker is up. NDSU is going to hustle to the line, try to snap this ball before they can take a look at it. And G.J. Kinney will stop it.
The ruling on the field was that the ball was recovered by the offense. That play is under further review.
Here we go.
Let's see. Great run, great blocking. First of all, let's see if the ball's out.
Oh, boy.
Ball is out. I think that's Cardinal football. That's Cardinal football.
I mean, the ball is obviously out. It's just a matter of, do the Cardinals
they have it.
recover?
Oh, yeah, he's got it. I mean, first things first, ball is going to come out right now. Great punch. Ball's out.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. 2nd down.
What?
What?
I don't know. Can we see another replay of that? I don't know what's confirmed.
What are they looking at? I mean, if
ball's out.
They must say, did they say Kobe Johnson got control of it again when he went down? That's the thing, is it's tough to tell who's got, it's still loose at that point.
Yeah.
Now, they must have said Hunter Brosio, 49, the fullback in there for Hunter Lipke. Maybe he was the one who recovered it for NDSU. But confirming the call that he was down, he was not.
No.
Tough to say who recovered, though, and NDSU keeps it. So on 2nd down and 1, they give it to TK Marshall. Marshall breaks free into Incarnate Word territory down inside the 40. It's Caleb Culp making another tackle. That is a huge chunk for the Bison of 32.
Well, now we're starting to really see this defense that played over 110 plays last week, gave up 700 yards late in the season. Man, they came out swinging there in the first and second quarter, gave it their all. But you can just see them legs starting to get a little bit tired, missed tackles, guys out of position. And then this offense and this rushing attack starting to really lean on them a little bit here in the fourth quarter as they continue to bleed this clock out. Under 4 minutes now.
They snap it with 5 on the play clock. Marshall this time brought down after a short gain. It's Isaiah Paul making another tackle. He's had a phenomenal game tonight.
There's a big play right here. This is a play for this defense where you look around to your buddies and say, man, TFL, no yards, big stop, force them to throw the football. You got timeouts, your offense, you know how fast your offense can go. You just can't give up a big play right here. Make this thing third and long situation.
NDSU has run for 337 yards. Back to Marshall. Around the left side, tripped up in the backfield. That's Darius Richmond on the tackle. G.J. Kinney was over there by the officials, and he'll call a timeout.
That's a great job by the right side of that defensive line, left side of the offensive line, really not allowing the running back to penetrate, force him to bubble out, and then the backside pursuit coming in to make the tackle for loss. That's the play they need right there. They need to get this thing to a third and long situation, and now this is decision time for North Dakota State. You know, do you trust your quarterback that has not thrown the ball well to say, hey, go win this game for us right now with your arm? Or do you play conservatively, run the football, maybe get the first down, maybe not, but force the Cardinals to burn their last timeout, and then see if you can kick a field goal to make them have to go down there and score a touchdown to win it?
Well, folks, the postseason's just getting started in college football. We've got 4 more bowl games tomorrow on ESPN and the app. Cincinnati and Louisville start things in the Fenway Bowl or the Scott Satterfield Bowl at 11 a.m. Then Florida takes on number 14 Oregon State, followed by Rice and Southern Miss. We cap the day with North Texas and Boise State in the Frisco Bowl, presented by Serve Pro. North Texas just hired a new coach, Eric Morris, who was with Incarnate Word before he went to take the OC job at Washington State. Took Cam Ward with him. Lindsey Scott Jr. has been more than serviceable as a replacement. 3rd down and 11. Cam Miller looking to escape the pocket and does. Throws on the run, incomplete and almost intercepted. Brian Mays had it in his mitts for UIW. Joe Stuffle, the tight end, couldn't squeeze it on the high pass from Miller.
Woo-wee, just another high pass. How many have we seen of this tonight? I mean, great job moving. I love the movement in the pocket. Just phenomenal. But just put it on his chest and the game's over. That's all you got to do. All right, Lindsey Scott. Here we go. About to get the ball back. Can't get a timeout. Plenty of time for this offense.
More than enough time. Caden Steindorf on the punt. About 8 Bison are in there inside the 5. You cannot do it any better than that. Incarnate Word will have to go the distance. Down by 3 with 1 timeout remaining and 2:46 to play. The Lindsey Scott Show is back next. FCS semifinal winner between Incarnate Word and North Dakota State goes to Frisco. What a game it's been. Bison by 3. Cardinals ball at their own 3. 1 timeout in the pocket of Lindsey Scott Jr. and the upstart UIW football program. Here for the first time ever. Deafening noise now at the Dome.
Well, last week, 2-minute drive, not afraid to run the football and that come from behind win.
They start with a run to Marcus Cooper, who doles out some punishment to James Kaiser, who will get credit for the tackle after a gain of 7. Now, Lindsey Scott has been Mr. Clutch in the playoffs in the 2 3-point wins for UIW. Cooper again gets the call. That time it's a short gain as Cole Menz came in there to make the tackle. It sets up 3rd down and 1 or 2. calls his own number. And Scott has the first down and a little extra past the UIW 20. As we approach 2 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, chains move.
And let's not forget, too, like, you want a touchdown, you want to win the game, but field goal puts this thing into overtime. So I do like the calls to get this possession going with a couple runs.
They check it down to Cooper. Dangerous with the ball in his hands. Wrangled down near the 30 to set up second down and short by Dom Jones.
And that's the maturity, too, of a seventh-year quarterback, understanding that, hey, nothing's open down the field, soft coverage, check the ball down, plenty of time, just keep advancing it.
Another completion. This one is short and will keep the clock moving. That's C.J. Hardy. One timeout for Incarnate Word. It does move the chains, though, so a first down for the Cardinals to freeze the clock at 90. Now Scott feels the heat, spins out of it. Lindsey Scott so slippery. He's got a man wide open. That's Grimes. Throws it up in traffic. Dawson Weber takes it away. And he just sealed it for the Bison.
Heck of a play on defense, and Grimes was wide open. Just wide open. Ball just hovered in the air. You see Lindsey right now. He wants to throw it. He wants to throw it. He wants to throw it. And just, same with the first pick earlier in the game. Like, once you start clutching it back 2-3 times, your mind's telling you, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then, great job, back-to-back times. We've seen in that situation, double clutch, triple clutch. Weber's going to make you pay. Made him pay earlier in the game. And now here, enough time for the safety to get over top and then win the one-on-one jump ball to seal the deal.
Look at the turnover margin for North Dakota State, +4.
Timeout, UIW.
Incarnate Word
Third
calls
and final
a timeout.
timeout.
You see Dawson Weber, 2 interceptions tonight. He had one last week against Samford. And we talked with Coach Entz this week, and he said, guys, we seldom celebrate around here. I mean, it's kind of become the standard for North Dakota State to get to this stop and then move on to Frisco, bring home a national championship, trying to win their 10th in the last 12 years. So he said, hey, Coach, where does the joy come from if you don't really celebrate? He said, my joy comes from seeing guys like Dawson Weber and Michael Tutsi come in as knuckleheads in 2017. And now they're playing great football, team captains and team leaders. And we have seen Weber and Tutsi deliver tonight.
No, they have in a big, big way. And it wasn't pretty. I'll tell you that, man. Like, that first quarter for this team, I would say very uncharacteristic. A team that's been here, won championships. Talking about a Cardinal football team that's maybe the lights too bright here in the Fargo Dome. They came out swinging, but, man, that shows you what a veteran group it is to kind of weather the storm, to handle those early punches. And you see a bunch of sad faces over there. But, I mean, what a season, though. Let's just, what a season, what a playoff run. Those 2 playoff wins, the playoff win last week to knock out Sacramento State, the comeback fashion, the year that Lindsey Scott had. Let's not forget about that. Like, yes, let's celebrate North Dakota State as they get ready to go win another national championship. But, man, them Cardinals this season was a special ride to watch and witness, and just came up a little bit short against the defending champs.
Oh, Matt Entz got a little shower early as his Bison are headed back to Frisco with a chance for their 10th national championship in the last 12 years. From Fargo to Frisco, the Bison go again.